September
9th. There we go. God, completed my homework.
Boom. So what was the day that we were supposed to die from Nibiru?
I think it was the 20th. It was Saturday.
Yeah.
23rd, is that right?
23rd? Was
Yeah.
it, Jamie?
33 days after the eclipse.
Oh, then Nibiru was going to come and smash us. Isn't it huge? Wouldn't we see it coming?
Pretty big. It has to be pretty big. Yeah.
It has to be pretty big. Do you know the whole Zechariah Sitchin thing? Do you know the whole thing?
A little bit, yeah. I was kind of into that for a while.
Me too.
It was a while ago that I realized I was like super into it, like Art Bell days.
Yeah. I used to love Art
Are
Bell
you kidding?
days.
That was remember when his son got kidnapped?
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Who
It was
kidnapped
really
his son?
weird. I don't know.
Was it
because
real?
I couldn't tell if it was real or not. That was the
Right.
problem.
Yeah, I used to listen to it coming home from the Comedy Store. There was the thing to listen to.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
10 o'clock, late night, driving home.
Yeah, totally. Art Bell, man.
Midnight, Art Bell. Live from Pahrump, Nevada.
Yeah, Pahrump. So
He had
great.
like this fenced-in compound in Pahrump, Nevada with a radio signal. I mean, he was like, in a lot of
hardcore.
ways, he was like doing internet before the internet.
Yeah, you're right. He was kind of like an aggregator, like a
Yeah.
curator. I mean, as a curator, is conscious curation, but it is that what you mean? Like the content of what he was talking about?
Well, it was also like there's a lot of I would say there's a lot more people that have access to like UFO conspiracy theory type stuff now because of the internet.
Yes.
And before then, Art Bell was like your only source for that.
I got you. Right. The deep cuts.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. What is this?
This is his son kidnapping. This is pretty dark.
Son
story.
assaulted by HIV teacher. Oh, Jesus, let's not put that on. Whew. Fucking, there's some people out there.
Yeah, I know.
But Art Bell had this crazy fenced-in compound that literally looked like it was in the middle of this like open prairie. It was
I never
very
saw
strange.
pictures of it.
Yeah, they put pictures online. I mean, who knows what I was looking at? It might not even been that. It might have been like he faked people out with this. He probably might live in a regular house.
Yeah. You want him to live in that situation. I hope.
Yes.
Because he's kind of like a, in a way, he was like a mystic. Those types of people, they're kind of like mystics. They're hermits. They live in like these weird places because they have to be, in the right conditions to receive the information.
Yeah, there's his house. See, it's all like fenced in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a very large, that's a weird, like
a
someone's
compound.
going over the
Look,
fence.
he's got windmills for electricity.
Wow.
He's got some big sort of truck he's got backed in there where he gets probably supplies. He's a total prepper.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Art Bell was incredible.
And it's blue. Is it like a bluish
Yeah.
teal or something? Like
It is
that?
so like a Beverly Hills rundown motel color.
Yeah, like, is it Rambler? Or whatever
Like
they're called?
off tans and off blues.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at that tower, the radio tower.
It's
this
so huge.
giant fucking tower in the middle of his yard. That can't give you cancer, can it?
No.
It should be, right?
No.
For sure, something's going on.
Way. No, it would never. It would never do anything.
What's that other one?
I don't know. That's a. Oh, I know what that is. I think that's a TV aerial, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
like
maybe
an
it
old
is a radio.
school. Maybe it's radio, but
Maybe
it looks
it's
like an
radio.
old school TV thing. These are
Yeah.
fucking huge towers he has.
I know, because he must. Yeah, because he broadcast from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way, that's another like internet reference.
Art Bell was the first time I heard of Terence Mckenna outside of a Bill Hicks joke. One Bill Hicks joke.
Oh,
Where he
right.
referenced. He
Terence
said
McKenna,
he
yeah.
was talking about 5 grams of dried mushrooms, or what Terence McKenna would refer to as a heroic dose.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, who's Terence McKenna?
Yeah,
And then I
right.
heard Terence McKenna on the Art Bell Show, live from
What?
Hawaii.
What?
Yeah. Terence McKenna had this crazy setup in Hawaii where he lived in Kona on the mountain. And he was totally off the grid, but way more than Art Bell. He was in the jungle, off the grid. He would have these basins to catch rainwater.
Yeah.
He had several acres around him, which he was growing psychedelic plants. He had 1,000 books. He lived totally by himself. He had like a generator for power, and he was completely off the grid. And he built the house there. Wow. Dude.
That's heavy.
He was just up there writing and tripping, and then he would leave like every 6 months. He would take off and leave for 6 months and just do these tours where he would do these speaking things in like hippie places like Austin, Texas, and Portland, Oregon, and shit like that.
Yep.
And they would gather around all these people to listen to all of his
Marfa.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard Psychedelic Salon? Psychedelic Salon's a podcast, a great podcast, and I've had Lorenzo from Psychedelic Salon on, but it's all like old recordings of Timothy Leary and Alan Watts. Are you related?
No, I wish, man.
You wish? That would be the shit.
I really wish that I was related to him. That would be rather nice.
He's profound and with an English accent.
Yes, he's very careful.
But he has all the McKenna recordings, like all of them, like way back through time, and he plays them all the time.
McKenna was which time period? I sometimes get them fused with Leary.
No, he was post-Leary, but he was there. You know, he was there during that era, but he came into prominence post-Leary. I think his main psychedelic experiences were in the 70s.
Okay.
Like he had some really crazy mushroom trips with his brother Dennis, who's an amazing guy.
Dennis is alive.
He's alive.
That's right.
He's been on this podcast several times.
Oh,
and he's
great.
a great guy.
Wow.
He's amazing. And he's actually a professor. And Dennis recounts all these tales. And one time, Terence and Dennis went into the jungle and they took too many mushrooms. And Dennis completely lost his mind, like went away for 2 weeks.
Whoa.
For 2 weeks, just incoherent, rambling, had some sort of a psychotic event, broke down the nature of reality itself, just went way too deep.
Yeah.
It was gone for like 2 weeks. Like they had to watch him.
Yeah.
They had to watch over him.
Oh my God. It's almost like he was exposed to such a complicated mathematical equation. And it took him that long to figure it out. And he came out of it. He's like, okay, I figured it out. I'm back.
Well, you know, Terence came up with the idea of the Stoned Ape Theory. And it wasn't just Terence. It was Terence, along with a lot of other psychedelic researchers. They sort of formulated some of the parts of this hypothesis. But the parts of this hypothesis had to deal with human beings evolving from lower primates, because the lower primates were forced to try out new foods because the rainforests were receding into grasslands, and all these ungulates who were eating up all the plants as they were growing up, they were shitting. And they were leaving cow patties, and in these cow patties, the mushrooms, of course, would grow. Yeah. So these monkey people like things that were us, that were living in the trees, they were forced to test out new food sources. And it coincides, this theory coincides with climate data that we know about changing of the temperatures back in Africa during that time and in these particular regions. And he thinks that these lower primates started experimenting with mushrooms. They started eating, they flip cow patties all the time to get beetles and bugs and things along those lines.
Right.
And so they would flip
behavior.
it, and they would pick these mushrooms out to see if they could eat them. Well, in low doses, mushrooms enhance visual acuity, so it would help you be a better hunter, makes you more sensitive, and it makes you more horny, which would make you more likely to breed. So you would be much more likely to be a successful hunter and more likely to breed.
That's like a triple threat right
Crazy.
there.
And that's outside of the psychedelic effects, right? The psychedelic effects of enhancing community, of creative thinking, all these things that happen when you do mushrooms in varying doses. And he believes that mushrooms are responsible for the doubling of the human brain size over a period of 2 million years, which is apparently the biggest mystery in the fossil record. They have no idea.
It's so quick.
Yeah, so quick.
It's crazy. It's a total departure.
And it's the organ responsible for the fossil record in the first place.
Right, exactly, for the understanding of what a fossil record is.
And the reason why we're writing all this stuff down, I mean, it's because of the mind. Well, this mind doubled over a period of 2 million years. And I think what they think is there's a bunch of different factors. And people argue about this, but I think it's really important to be balanced about this and go, I don't think if it's either or. I think there was a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
They think it had to do with humans figuring out fire and how to cook meat. They think cooking meat allowed people to get more nutrients, which allowed people to be healthier. And if you can kill one animal, you'd have more resources to sort of figure things out. They started thinking up shelters and weapons and all these different various things that led to civilization. There's one theory that goes along that way. Yeah, trade. The throwing arm is another one. The fact that we could throw, that we could throw things, we could hit shit that was nowhere near us, like no other animal. And then once we figured out spears, we started like this ability to do this one thing might have led us to enough free time to start innovating. And then the brain, as time went on, favored the ones who are more innovative and more disciplined and more creative. And those are the ones that
survive longer.
Yeah, which is obviously like what we reward in people today.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah,
fascinating.
That hasn't gone away. No, that hasn't gone away. That totally makes sense. I mean, it's like, I view in general the idea of awareness and consciousness as as a metaphor, it's many people use it, but just like a computer operating system.
Yeah.
So or consciousness experiencing itself infinitely. But like that's like this form of an operating system, and we live in a binary version of isolate, which is kind of like a game, to then rediscover the fact that that's not true. It is true, but it's also not true. To arrive at the paradox, to the answer of the thing that happens within a paradox. Like a good joke.
Right.
When you're like, here's the setup, here's the punchline. And so it's somewhere when those two things collide in a group of people, it will trigger a reaction. And if it's laughter, in that moment, it's understanding a paradox. It's like feeling the effects of a paradox, where it actually
Right, a very unique moment, a crazy thing that like you didn't expect to experience because it's so different than everything else you experience in everyday life.
Yeah, it's like everything and nothing simultaneously. Like you get that quick whoosh, because a joke kind of does that.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion, and that makes you feel like. It gives everyone a sense of enlightenment for a moment.
I know what you're saying. I don't think a joke does it the way a psychedelic experience does it, but it definitely, there's like this weird moment when you're laughing at someone who's really killing. Like when like you escape from the shackles of your normal thinking.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And you, it's just a joyfulness because it's like you get this perspective. It's like such a zoomed out perspective on this thing in such a small instant of time that it's just it's like being on a ride. It's like you're just suddenly there. And
do you feel like when I've been talking about this a lot? Do you feel like that what's going on is like a form of hypnosis when a comedian is like killing over a crowd? Like it's like a form of hypnosis? Because I always feel like when I'm watching someone on stage and they really got me, I'm not really thinking. I'm kind of allowing them to think for me, and I'm just like sitting down, smiling, and enjoying the ride they take me on. I'm not doing any analyzing myself. Especially, that's like one of the reasons why it's very important to like really think carefully about people's attention spans and how to get these ideas into their head. I think it is, in a way, like a state of mind that you achieve on stage that's very similar to hypnosis.
Yeah, you're talking about the effect on people,
and you too,
and the idea of what's happening.
I think the comedian as well, because I feel like it's my job to put all the pieces together and practice it and just tweak it but when I get on stage and it starts happening, I feel like I'm as much of a passenger as I am the driver.
Oh man, yeah, that's a really great description. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, like sometimes I'll say that the feeling that I get on stage, if I'm, making music or even just like riffing or whatever, is that I feel like I'm actually I'm watching the show, or I actually step out of myself and I'm actually kind of enjoying the show. Yeah. And then there'll be a moment where I'll be like, oh fuck, right, I'm also doing that.
Well, you can't enjoy it too much.
I'll snap back in, but in those moments, that's exactly I dig that because it exists. It just depends on where your awareness lands.
You know what I always feel like, man? I always feel like the dude running the old school movie projector, because you really just kind of turn it on, but you have to be there in case anything fucks up.
Yeah. For the most part, it runs on its own.
Do you remember how it didn't used to though? When you go to the movies?
Yeah, there was there was an operator. There was just someone next to it just in case something fucked up.
Do you remember when movies fucked up and you'd have to yell out?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Film's down.
Yeah,
those are great.
I know, those are great communal moments.
In retrospect, those are great.
Absolutely. Yeah, the fuck ups, the chaos. That's great,
man.
That's the community.
That's a real test of character to see whether you talk in a movie theater.
Oh yeah. What do you mean, like
the kind of people that talk in movie theaters,
like during a movie?
Yeah. Like you really know whether or not you can hang out with someone if they talk in a movie theater.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Because if someone starts talking in the movie theater, you're like, hey, you're inconsiderate.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Or unless, like, for me, I have this like little secret that once if it's a brief comment, I don't really mind
as long as it's
so much. But yeah, that's the secret. Get really quiet and get close to their ear, and don't whisper. Just speak in kind of a like, hey, one of my things.
Right.
Because the higher your whisper is, it's much more sibilant, and everyone can hear it. So whispers are actually louder than a hushed tone.
And anyways, then there's also the people that just start talking about normal shit.
Oh yeah, totally. Like has nothing to do with the movie, and you're like,
Debbie called. Like, what? We're watching Ex Machina, you asshole. This guy's gonna get killed by a robot lady.
Totally. But come on, aren't you interested in seeing how that even comes to be?
Shut the fuck up. She's about to kill him.
It's like, Troy was really angry the other day. It's like,
What?
Oh, what?
Troy?
Why
are you talking about Troy? We're at the movies. This is Avatar 2, motherfucker.
What's going on?
This shit's in 3. I'm wearing glasses.
No, totally. That's the crazy thing. Hey, it's just coming out this fall. I don't know. It's just really weird.
We're watching something now. Who gives a fuck what's going to happen in the future? You might not even be alive. I might kill you for talking in the movie theater.
So I know you have no idea how I'm going to react.
Yeah.
You're really taking a big risk.
Man, I'm really hungry. Let's get something to eat after this. What? That's later. To people that can't even wait an hour to eat, like, no, I have to be filled now.
Yeah.
I need to fill my holes.
Totally. I get it. Because your holes get lonely.
I need to fill my face hole with food immediately. I can't survive.
That's tough, man. That's a tough racket because some people, I don't know, obviously there are people that have like this weird thing that happens when, that hangry thing or whatever, like their bloodshot. So then they kind of get crazy. However, I will say that for the most part, it's about discipline. And the discipline turns into just nature, and then you get a better sense of how, if you are hungry, you're like, you know what, I'm hungry, and that's fine.
Yeah, you can be fine.
I'm gonna be hungry. I can live for a few days without food. So a few hours or like 4 hours extra, I'm gonna be fine.
Did you hear about the guy that lost like more than 100 pounds by fasting for an entire year? He had doctors monitoring him. It was all part of some sort of scientific experiment. And we were talking about him with Rob Wolf, correct? Is that who was telling us about it? Or was it Dom DeAugustino?
Wasn't it like in the 60s or something?
No, it was fairly recently. Yeah, fairly recently. It's because the doctors were monitoring him. He lost over 100 pounds. And here's what's really crazy. His skin shrunk with him.
Oh.
Like his body corrected for itself.
Yep.
Which is like, what? Because he went into a complete state of ketosis, right? Mm-hmm. Where his body's only fuel was from the actual extra fat in his body. Yep. And then when his body started consuming this, I mean, he could have like really bizarre genetics where his skin doesn't stretch out.
This is it, right?
450-pound man fasted for a year and he lost more than half his weight. Yeah, I think that's it.
It says it happened in 1965.
Oh, is that the same one?
I think so.
See if there's a recent one. Because if Rob Lowe was talking about that, they had all these color photos of the guy that looked really recent.
I'll double check.
You might be right, but I think it was a recent. Maybe they recreated it. Maybe that's what it was. But this guy, whatever it was, all he did. Oh, is this the same one?
Yeah, same thing.
Same one. All he did was drink water, and his body just ate its fat. I don't know if he took vitamins or what.
He had to take some fiber because he needs stuff to go through his system.
Damn, I wish Rob Wolf was here. I'm pretty sure he's the one who told us about it. What I think was the most shocking was that his skin shrunk too.
That's the weird thing. I mean, with weight loss, like I lost like around 55 pounds.
Damn, how'd you do that?
I just started lifting. I got a trainer and started lifting, and then basically eating like a bodybuilder. So and that's how I eat for the most part.
Do you feel better that way?
Oh man, way better. It's crazy. Like
Isn't it crazy?
The food, like people sometimes will look at the food that I'm bringing, which is always pretty much the same thing.
Like, what are you eating?
Like for breakfast, it's like this, what I call or what he calls the Yurga Shake. My trainer, he has this shake that he digs, and it's like half kefir, a cup of oats, raw oats, half a cup of kefir, half a cup of water, and then 35 grams of J-Rob chocolate egg white protein. Oh, and a handful of frozen blueberries.
Damn. So you got a lot of good stuff going on there. You got antioxidants. You got probiotics from the kefir.
Yep.
You got some carbs from the oats.
Yep.
You got protein.
Yeah.
See, you just eat good. It's so funny because it's such the problem is there's a lot of fucking dummies that also eat good and they're annoying. And for regular people that like want to be healthy, but they don't want to be that annoying guy at the gym that's just fucking just droning on and on about his sets and his lifts, and you start thinking that being healthy is for idiots.
Yes, right. I know it gives it a bad rap.
It does give it a bad rap.
It's not that. You know, my favorite thing that I've been learning, like lifting, and sometimes I go to Gold's on Saturday, like as a treat. right? So like we go to Gold's in Venice, and it's what I love about anything that I get involved with is just observing like how the system works,
right?
You know, and like
the community.
the community, like what's the level of awareness, like what are they focused on, those types of things. And the thing I really dig about lifting is that it's not what you think. Like I think people think like, meatheads, you know, roided up, blah 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 blah. And don't get me wrong, there are some of those for sure. And it wouldn't be a real gym without a couple. But like, you go into Gold's, and man, people are so respectful to one another. Very friendly, very respectful. They like rack their weights. They help you. They re-rack if you're working in. They get things out of the way. They think about like stuff like being in the way or not. You know, there's a lot of like really cool conscious. Hey, let me help you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that lift that you're doing right there is putting too much stress on your shoulder. You might want to like pull in a little bit with your elbow or whatever. Just a tip. You know.
Those
like
guys are great. The guys that are annoying are the guys that want to correct you and they're wrong.
Oh
like,
man, no.
Don't
you
ever
can't do that.
Do that exercise.
You can't do that.
Okay, why would I do that?
You just can't do that.
There's guys that just have this idea in their head that they need to absolutely tell you their knowledge.
Oh man,
it must come out now.
It's weird, and you can tell the difference.
Yeah,
because like if someone's like giving you a small piece of corrective advice for an exercise that you're doing in the moment, or that you're doing, so it's not a critique of the exercise itself. It's more like, I'm looking at you doing this exercise, and here's a little piece that might make it more efficient,
right?
You know, and better use of your movement or whatever. That's great. I get that, and you get that right away. You're like, oh, that's dope. I'll try that. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know. But when someone's like going off on these giant concepts like these, just things that are too large to give to someone that you don't know.
Right, and they just start firing it out at you.
Yeah,
with all these like physiological words.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
things that they've read in magazines.
Like, what? Yeah. I don't even know what you're saying. I don't even know what that word. I'm nodding because I don't want to look stupid. Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if we can, yeah, sure, man. Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
I'm all about isolating my scapula. It's super important about my supraspinatus and all these words. Like, oh, what are we doing here?
Your duodenum.
I feel like you're jerking off on me or something. Totally. Jerking off on me with your knowledge.
Knowledge jerking.
There is knowledge jerking, right? People
do that.
They definitely knowledge jerk.
Absolutely,
on you.
Yeah, and it gets grouped in with mansplaining, which I think is like another form of. It's just a general human term.
Have you heard he Pete? It's a new one.
Oh, what's that?
He Pete is when a woman says something and everybody ignores it, and the man says the exact same thing,
what?
And they go, "Oh, great idea."
That's fucked. I know what that is, and that's fucked. I do not like that. But there's nothing that pisses me off more. It's like when someone's like, "Here, let me capitalize on an idea that was not really delivered at the right timing, you know, or whatever." Yeah. It's like, but I'm just going to claim responsibility.
Yeah, don't say Debbie just had a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the difference between a good person and a cunty person.
Oh, man.
Debbie just had a good idea as the good person. Hey, everybody, Debbie just had a great idea.
Yeah.
The bad guy is like, I got a great idea.
Yeah, totally. And Debbie's like, what
the fuck? Huh? And Debbie doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Debbie's like, this fucking job sucks.
Yeah, totally. I knew this guy was an asshole. Here's my proof.
That culture of like not like being in a corporate world and like one person is the boss and the other people have to kiss ass on the boss, but then the boss has a boss. The regional boss is coming by. Everybody tighten up.
Yep.
And he's got to put his good tie on.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I know. What? The only time that system works is if the boss is a really good person at being a boss.
Yeah.
That's the only time, which is very, very rare.
Super rare.
Because they're playing against it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Well, you have to exist. You have to exist while ignoring all the trappings of bosshood.
Yeah, right. If you're just looking at like just from a rational, logistic, like efficient making mindset, like you want, and what the value of efficiency also relates to the happiness of the workers and their well-being. Not coddling too much, but providing just the right amount of things plus a little bit extra to give it the grease that it needs to feel good. And
also finding people to fill your team that are like-minded or willing to like kind of think that way.
Yes.
Where everybody kind of works together almost as a family.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure those jobs exist. I know I've talked to people that love their jobs. I know there's people like that are putting it together right.
I think that there are companies, and if not, there are moments when companies are like that.
Yeah.
You know, and because everything changes, so it might not be sustainable.
If we keep going, I feel like, you know, people like to look at the worst aspects of any point in time, right? Whether it's with climate change or a crazy presidential situation or race relations or whatever we have. We always look at the worst aspects of it. But I think overall it's pretty undeniable that this is the best time ever to be alive. In terms of healthcare, in terms of, like the science behind keeping people alive, in terms of your ability to get information, in terms of our ability to communicate with each other, and bullshit to get through to us. Like, it's way less likely that bullshit gets through to people today than the propaganda that gets spewed just in like the 1960s. And get over on us. That's, the Gulf of Tonkin thing, like the whole reason why we got into war. So I just think that if we can keep it together and we can keep going, I think 40 years from now, 50 years from now, I think we're going to realize that should be the norm, and that the really healthy communities is going to be the norm. And all these things, this is like almost like aberrations that when we look back in time and think of like people who were kings and they had people under them and they executed people at their own whim, and that that only exists in a few places today. It's like North Korea and like maybe a couple other places. I feel like in the future we're all going to move towards it. It's just hard to see while we're in it. We're all moving towards a better way of living.
Yeah. I think of it, if I go back to that, like the reality awareness issue, or the idea that, there are multiverses and that every choice splits off and makes another choice. So in essence, if anything is possible, if the amount of realities and possibilities that exists are infinite, but we're like perceiving one point, as a consciousness experiment or whatever you want to call it. But as your point of reference, as you move, and every choice that you make, you can actually steer yourself to the reality that you want to live in. So, I think that there's something great about seeing the trajectory of what you just described and moving towards that future, but being proactive in the way that you can. But I think really the thing that's really going to help all of that is energy. Like, if we can figure out a way to distribute energy so that it's more equal amongst all human beings on the planet.
Right. Like something. You mean energy in terms of power, actual power, electrical power,
like electrical
solar,
power,
wind power. Yeah. I would feel like there's a lot of places in the earth that would benefit from some super advanced form of solar, because it feels like
free energy.
Yeah. For sure. Why even ever have power plants? Why have any of that stuff?
No.
We can all be independent, and we don't have to rely on a grid either this way.
No. Distributed power is the best power, especially if it is connected, because then it can manage itself. Even with artificial intelligence and things like that, or just really good programming, it just optimizes constantly in real time based on a sensor array.
Well, they use really good backcountry solar panels to charge batteries for cameras and batteries for phones.
That's right.
My friend Adam was in Montana, and he was in Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. He went on this epic backcountry hunt, and one of the things that he did is he brought this solar thing to charge his phone every day, and he would do Insta stories from the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. But that you couldn't do that just a few years ago. There wasn't the kind of solar power that you could pack up in a little thing and stuff into your backpack. it's crazy.
I know. Yeah, I was checking out. There's a company out of Australia that makes these solar generators, and they're like $17,000 or something like that, or maybe even. Oh no, they might even be more, like $30,000 or something. Anyways, it's this like fairly lightweight system. It's like a mast system that has a base and a solar array, and it tracks the sun. So it moves automatically with the sun, and it also has like some other pre-programmed weather data that's also integrated into it, either real time or stored. And so but it's able to produce like a pretty decent amount of electricity. I don't remember the numbers, but it was definitely way more than a trickle charge.
Wow.
You could almost you could run a refrigeration system on it, like a small refrigeration system.
So you could keep food from perishing and, maybe even get some air conditioning going or something.
Yeah.
I think
with a storage battery
20
too.
years from now, who knows how crazy this shit is going to be.
Well, I just got done seeing that documentary. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a kind of conspiracy UFO documentary.
Which one?
Is
it a fairly recent one?
Yeah, it's fairly recent.
Is it Dr. Stephen Greer, that guy?
Not sure. It's on iTunes. It's featured on iTunes.
Do you remember the name of it?
I can find it.
Like the unknown or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that seems right. What is it? Unacknowledged.
Did you like it?
That's him.
Was it Art Belly?
It was kind of Art Belly, actually. Art Belly. Those are tough shows for me to watch because it makes sense. Like some of the stuff that they're talking about, that makes sense. But my theory is that the level of organization that they're talking about doesn't really exist. Like it's not that tight. I think it's kind of messy. I think it's the same thing. Like just look at kids on a playground and see how they organize themselves socially, and then just expand that with a little bit more of complexity, and you have this idea of like the secrecy, the structure of secrecy, and ancient like cults that have now risen, to Rosicrucians and Masons and the Illuminati and those types of things. I think that they can like that sort of thing does exist, but it doesn't exist in the tight, efficient, controlled version. I think it's messier than that. I think it's people trying to influence other people using a bunch of tactics, but I think that you can't have control. You can't have that much control as much control as they're talking about.
Well, the only way that would work is if the government was different than people. Like if if it wasn't made of people,
if
the government
totally.
wasn't people,
if
they were so smart that they weren't people, then that could be possible. But obviously, that's not the case. Donald Trump is the fucking president, so we have proof that the government's filled with people. That guy's a person, for
He's
sure.
So person,
right?
Yeah.
So no person has ever been able to pull off that level of conspiracy for any length of time. And the idea that you could hide somehow communication with aliens, and that the aliens would choose the government of all people. Why would the aliens give a fuck who we picked in our popularity contest? Oh, that's the representative that gets to speak to Zeta Reticuli?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here. They talk to whoever they want. It's like, we go and check when we visit a bee colony? Excuse me, may I speak to the queen? No, we stick our fucking hived up hands in there.
Secret contact.
Yeah, we just suck some bees out with a vacuum and take them to a lab to test them.
Listen, I need you to go back to the queen.
We need to go to the king. Can you imagine some fucking dude sitting in the White House, at the Oval Office, and the alien walks in? I am the representative of. I mean, this is like a 1940s movie, right?
It just doesn't make any. It doesn't make any sense.
So stupid.
I believe in like so many things, so infinitely that things can exist and things are possible. However, there are things that are just like. It just makes sense. You know it intuitively. You can feel a connection to it where you're like, you know what? I'll leave a 10% margin of possibility. Something like that. But there are ideas where I'm like, I just can't.
It could be real, but I've seen nothing that compels me to believe that it is. But it could be real. I'm definitely not saying there are no aliens, or the government hasn't been contacted by aliens, or the aliens haven't visited Earth.
Sure. I mean,
why not? We would do it.
I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but again, I think it's not to the extent at which when you compress all the data and you like formulate a story about it,
highly unlikely.
It's like, well, I don't know. It seems you kind of have to do that. Like you can't talk about that stuff.
It also seems super likely to me that in the future we won't send biological entities into these places that have all these limitations as far as like what we can survive. We'll send some sort of an artificial intelligent.
Yep.
Maybe that's what those things are. Those gray things with the big black eyes.
Yeah.
Maybe those are robots.
Oh man,
makes sense.
But then the question is it's my theory is that our propulsion or our compulsion to constantly be making technology is based on our desire to make or build ourselves outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
So without the normal biological means, it's like we're fascinated at simulating ourselves outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so in essence, we could just be that already.
Right.
And so it's like we're just like on this constant carrot chasing propulsion system.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that when they look at the image of the alien, they look at that image and they say that it's entirely preposterous that someone would achieve or something would achieve a humanoid-like shape with all the massive amounts of different shapes that we have on Earth.
Yes,
right.
right.
Just to be mobile, that's not the only way to be mobile. And
No.
we know how ours came to be. That we used to be crawling, and then we started standing upright. That's why we have all these issues with our spine.
Yeah.
Our spine wasn't entirely designed to support upper body weight.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you know the other thing is, it's one of my pet peeves, and I'm just putting this into the spectrum of science fiction. Every celestial body, every planet, every moon, they all have different gravities.
Yeah.
So there's going to be different types of creatures. Not only that, but when they come to our planet, they're either going to need a really strong exoskeleton suit, or they're going to be so incredibly strong, you know, that it wouldn't matter. Also, atmospheric gases, like all, you know, like how they produce energy. Oh, there's such a vast complexity that life is the way that it is now because of all of the elements that were present at the times that they were present in our reality. And so, and even if you take it on a software level, like something like what was that game Spore, where it was built on like a generative
You can
idea.
create entire universes.
Yeah,
with it,
and
right?
they would kind of create on their own based on like your light touches.
And they would be infinite. Jamie,
Yes.
didn't you say that got boring though because there's really nothing happening in these infinite universes?
That was a newer
Oh,
game
that's
called,
No Man's Sky.
Yep.
No Man's Sky. So
Yeah.
a similar idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorta.
that's
Sorta.
it's. You have to really, you know, the problem with those things is, I know we're jumping around a lot, but it just.
That's the whole show.
Oh, that is the show. Okay,
Yeah, we
good.
jump around, man.
You're like, okay,
Who
so when
cares?
should we start?
We can talk about whatever.
Yeah, totally good. I like it. There ain't no rules.
I'll show you Sport Show.
Yeah.
So when you, so this is, what is this?
These are
This is Sport.
creatures.
This came out like probably 10, 15 years ago.
Whoa, this is
easily.
dope.
It starts super small as little one-celled organisms and works all the way up to organism getting on land, and then you're really running a whole planet, kind of.
So when these things are happening, do these little fuckers evolve?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they evolve.
You can design.
How do
them
you?
and all that.
Oh, you can design them. That's hilarious. And what are your tasks? Oh, you have to fight ants here.
Eat, survive.
Whoa.
Whatever. Earth.
You can get lost in these fucking things, man.
Then you can, see, and now there's like tribal culture with hierarchical leadership.
Now, are these other things you're
Romance.
interacting with artificial, or are they other humans that are playing
this
the game?
game is
AI.
all. Yeah, this was kind
all
of
AI?
multiplayer online
Yeah.
stuff.
So there's
Wow.
these evolved. Yeah, so basically you evolve all the way to spacefaring.
Dude, they're so cool looking. They beat
Yeah.
the fuck out of each other with sticks, though. I gotta get past that shit, man.
See, that's I know. See, that's the thing. That's the thing about that makes us. That's why I call human beings, the human race, a simulation species. It's like everything that we do, we generate our ideas. They're all based on like our observation of the world around us, and then utilizing that in some way for ourselves. And so, like, you know, design of things, why we color things the way that they are, certain chemicals, or why things are, you know, look the way they look, or the shape the way they're shaped, all of that thing. So when I see a game about simulation, of course we're going to make a game about simulations. Arguably, like children playing with dolls and figures and stuff like that, that's another form of simulation. But the idea of like having the awareness of another reality and projecting the idea that you want more with bigger, I guess, more control.
Yeah.
Having control over a representation of your idea of a desired reality is crazy. I mean, that's like simulation within simulation within simulation within. It's totally. To me, a nice piece of evidence for that.
Yeah, I think we're going to get better at it, and it's going to get indiscernible. You're going to be able to put some headphones on, and they're going to plug some stuff, maybe put some of those greasy pads with the
some
wires.
Some wetware.
Yeah, they're going to put that stuff connected to your head in all these various places. They're going to hook you up with this machine, and you're going to go somewhere that's so much cooler than reality. You're going to be like, fuck reality, man.
Yeah.
And you're going to will it. You're going to go and do your stupid job at Home Depot, and you're like, fuck this job. And you're going to come home, and you're going to put that thing on, and you're going to realize, I have to figure out a way to stay in here. I have to stay in this world. This,
Like Surrogate.
Yeah,
Did you ever see
this
that?
Tron world. What's Surrogate?
Surrogate, the movie. Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that movie.
Remember that?
Holy
so it's
shit.
all about telepresence.
Yeah.
So people were like just in pods, but it's kind of.
But they had like a robot body.
Yeah, they had
of them
a robot
when they were
body.
younger.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, and there were people like jumping off of like buildings and shit because there were no consequences.
Yeah.
You know. So
is that what they looked like underneath? Look at that. They're like half. Whoa, freaky.
Yeah.
She's hot though.
Surrogate.
Hot
Bruce
even
Willis.
as a robot. Yeah, Bruce Willis is younger.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first uses of CGI too, to make someone younger in a movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like, look how beautiful his skin looked.
That's very smooth.
Yeah.
Super smooth.
They just did that recently with Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
With who?
Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is the bad guy.
They did young. Yeah, you know the one time that I noticed the most was Tron. The new Tron.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where they like. I remember that being
Bridges.
like espoused as like this breakthrough. I mean, it's Benjamin Button. Like you know,
faked as fuck.
it looked fake as fuck. I mean, it wasn't a simulation, but
Yeah.
even the fact that it wasn't a simulation, a
You're
video
like,
game, still
come
looked
on.
fake within the video
Yeah.
game.
Kurt Russell though looked amazing.
Look at that dimple.
Dude, he looked perfect. I mean, he looked really good.
Oh, he looks. Yeah, no, that looks.
He looked like a 35-year-old Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
It was
that looks
fucking
wonderful.
incredible.
That looks great.
Dude, it's really good. And the movie's
Natural.
fun as shit too.
Oh,
man.
it's like you talking about two?
Yeah.
The one thing that really pissed me off was that Baby Groot. I hate when they put baby characters. I can't stand it. It's so obvious. It's such an obvious play. It's just like
I know.
it's like remember
It is obvious,
Even Mork and Mindy when they added
Right.
Jonathan Winters. I didn't. I
Don't
wasn't
be
into it.
afraid of obvious things that are awesome, like
Well,
big tits.
They worked once. Okay, that's a totally different thing, man. That's a totally different thing.
But obvious things that are awesome. There's another. I know that little baby Groot was cute. I love him.
I could not stand that opening sequence with like he's like being casual and he's taking out all the bad guys. I'm like, that's so gross. I don't
when
like
he was
it.
singing?
Oh yeah,
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun,
like
dun,
with the it's the opening sequence. Yeah,
I loved it.
Man, I couldn't. I didn't. I know.
You know what though, dude? I'm a dork for comic books, man. I've always been a dork for comic books and comic book movies, and I'm so like. I'll make fun of people for liking pro wrestling. Like, oh, you know that's happening. You know it's fake. You know it's fake. And they're like, I know it's fake. That's not the point.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
Game of Thrones is fake too. And we'll go back and forth. But meanwhile, I'll get fucking thrilled when or Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk.
Oh, I love that shit.
Yeah, I get amped up.
Oh, I love that. That I have no problem with.
That's so corny though.
I liked. No, that's not corny. I
Should
think
make me angry.
that's
You wouldn't
fucking
like
dope.
me when I'm angry.
I love that shit. I always do that. Have you ever heard that?
Could you imagine?
What's his name? British comedian, really brilliant kind of alt guy. Did Jerry Springer the musical? And it didn't take off, and there were all these Christians like protesting it.
They're protesting his musical.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
crazy. It was like really big, and it didn't happen or something like that. Like the theater like decided not to do it or something like that.
Oh, that's funny.
Rich, God, that's so crazy.
What is it?
Richard Thomas.
No.
No.
Not Richard Thomas. It's he's got a program right now. He's on TV and the BBC. But anyways, he's this brilliant. He has a joke about Ang Lee.
The guy who did the Hulk.
Yeah. So and his whole thing is just insane. It's a long joke. It takes like 7 minutes. The setup is just him talking about how he worked with Ang Lee, and at the end of this interview, he said, Ang Lee, you wouldn't like me when I'm Ang Lee. Something like that. And Ang Lee not getting it, and then him explaining the whole lead up back to that again, and then Ang Lee not getting it, and then explaining it again. And it just goes, it's I think I'm remembering it right, but it's just brilliant. And then it's such an abstract, weird slice of a way to get to a punchline. And it's perfect.
A Hulk punchline.
It's a Hulk.
Of arguably the worst Hulk movie of all
definitely.
of them.
Definitely
Yeah,
the worst.
the Eric Bana one.
Yeah.
I loved him in Chopper, but I didn't love him as Bruce Banner.
Yeah, even though his last name was Bana, and I thought that's pretty close to Banner, I didn't do it.
You know what?
Terrible
what fucked
dog.
me on that movie? I went to see it high. And when you go to see high movies, bad movies just like are offensive when you're high. You're like, what? What are you making me believe? What?
I know.
What is this?
I'm aware of the illusion you're casting, wizard. Yeah, that's a problem.
Remember they had Hulk dogs in that one.
Yeah, I did
Nick
the
Nolte.
Cerebus. It was like it's like the three or two-headed dogs.
Was that two-headed? I remember it was a Hulk dog.
Yeah, it was
I didn't know if it had more than one head.
I think it had more than one head. I think
because it was Nick Nolte's dogs. He was the dad. Remember? He was the scientist dad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he turned into a jellyfish. Is that the one where he turned into a jellyfish at the end?
Did he?
Had jellyfish.
Oh, there's the Hulk
DNA.
dogs. Look at them. Hulk poodle.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
Hulked
That's
out
right.
poodle and a hulked out pit bull.
So fucking
Holy
weird.
shit.
What a weird.
Look at them. That's amazing.
What a strange. Like these are the creatures they're gonna be facing.
Look at that hulked out poodle.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah, remember that happened? It essentially turned into the Hulk versus a Hulk dog. So when the dogs would get fired up, the same thing would happen to them as happened to the Hulk.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Hulk dogs.
And didn't he get bigger? Look at that thing biting him on the back. And didn't he get bigger depending upon
How much radiation?
Fucked up shit was happening in his life?
like
if they
anger?
shot him with bullets, he kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, maybe that. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, because he just keeps absorbing the energy.
Yeah, and
so like in
getting
a
madder,
nuclear,
too.
a nuclear blast.
And as he got madder, he just kept getting bigger.
That's right.
Could you fucking imagine, like, of all the superpowers, that's the one that I think so appeals to kids like me when I was young, when I was little and worried about the world and nervous and, you get picked on. You're like, how cool would it be to just be able to just get angry and all of a sudden become this bulletproof thing that can leap through the air.
Yeah, I know. That's the most. It's like freedom.
Yeah.
Like max freedom.
But it was so corny, like the words that he would say, that you could only read it.
Oh, yeah. As a comic book, when you're reading a comic book, that's different than when you hear people speaking.
Yeah, like even
comic
in the
book.
Avengers, when he takes, what is it, Loki?
Yeah. Loki.
And he Loki and he beats the fuck out of him. And he goes, puny human.
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
no.
it's man.
No. But if you saw a 1970s Hulk,
Lou Ferrigno?
just like,
No
or
talking.
I mean comic from
the
the
comic
70s,
book,
and just like he's beating the fuck out of Loki, and Loki's kind of like kind of fucked up, and Hulk is just motionless, and then it said that you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
He would say that.
He would definitely say that, and that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you could only read people saying.
Yeah, totally. Totally. You're just like Annie Cap. I mean, no one says titch.
Yeah, like Andy Capp. Wow, that's a blast from the past.
Titch.
Is there any more popular cartoons? Are there any more Dilberts out there in the world?
Do you mean like hand-drawn like comic strips?
Are there big ones that people like look forward to every day? There must be.
You're about to hear from Twitter.
I'm sure, right?
Get ready.
I mean, you have to read the newspaper probably, right?
Right, but who the
does
fuck reads
that?
newspapers
Yeah, exactly.
anymore?
I don't know, man. Yeah, and online publications, unless it's the New Yorker, usually don't do comic strips.
Right.
It's just the articles.
And if they do, it's probably like a one-off by an artist rather than a series like Andy Capp or Dilbert or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's maybe a one-off with Obama and Trump standing next to each other talking or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a picture. Yeah, it's just one. It's like Playboy style.
Yeah,
one
yeah.
picture, a punchline, and a joke underneath.
Yeah, I remember those Playboy ones where you're like, whoa, this is crazy. I was a little kid, I'd get a hold of them and be like, what in the fuck am I reading?
I know.
This girl with her tits popping out and the guy's trying to grab her. Like, what?
I know. And it's humor.
Yeah.
It's like adult humor.
It's adult humor, but today it's totally rape culture. Like there's a lot of shit that was in Playboy magazine and those ads that if you saw, or those cartoons rather, if you saw it today, you'd be like, you can't print this.
there's no
fucking way.
There's no way. I mean, is it as bad? No, it is. It is. I was just gonna say, is it as bad as Mickey Rooney and Breakfast at Tiffany's?
I don't remember that movie.
Yeah, watch it. But as soon as Mickey Rooney's character comes on,
I might not have ever seen that, which doesn't make sense to me.
City.
Really?
No, it makes sense. Breakfast at Tiffany's is like one of those movies you hear about all the time, but you may not ever see it.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Yeah,
I might not have ever seen it.
I remember trying to see it, and I couldn't finish it because of Mickey Rooney.
Oh, he's just a douche in it?
So he plays a Chinese man.
Oh, God. That's right.
Or no, Japanese. Is he Japanese? He's Japanese.
Yeah, that's
Or is he wearing a
Japanese.
Japanese thing saying he's Chinese?
It says Mr.
Oh no, it's
Yunioshi.
okay.
That's a
Definitely
Japanese
Japanese. Yeah. Okay, so
And
they
is
get
it
at least.
just
I thought
super
thought it was
racist?
going to get really terrible with, like, mixing Asian cultures, but apparently.
You remember when Katy Perry had to apologize for wearing a kimono because people felt like it was offensive to Japanese people that she was culturally appropriating? She was like had this big sit down with.
But what about Björk?
I don't know about her. I don't know
Björk
what she
in
did.
one of her album covers.
Oh, that's right.
She's.
But that was a different time when it was acceptable.
Oh, you're
Today-
right. You're right. No, it's
today it's no longer.
It's grandmothered in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had apologized, and when she was apologizing, remember she made this like video that will make your fucking brain hurt.
Yeah.
She's sitting there with Doree, how do you say Mackison from Black Lives Matter, and they're sitting on a couch, cross-legged, with their shoes off. Which, by the way, nobody knows. Nobody knows that.
No.
You
Yeah.
sit down like that with me. I'm like, hey, what are we doing here? Why sitting like that?
Yeah, that's
Trying to be comfortable. Well, this is
It
definitely
looks
a
weird.
terrible setup. How about we just give us a comfy chair?
Well,
We sit here and talk to each
it
other
would-
like fucking humans.
It would be different if they were on like kind of organic looking furniture and they were dressed more as
Yeah.
like human people. And I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, she was addressing
Just out
her
of it, yeah.
hair. This was the thing. She had to address her hair because she did something where she had braids. And people were getting mad at her because she culturally appropriated. And then she also addressed her idea of dressing up like a geisha. So the problem is
Yeah,
when
right.
they went over and talked to people, geishas are from... Where are geishas from? Why do I want to say China?
No, it's Japan.
Yeah, it is Japan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so it's like the thing that people just
Right.
don't understand.
So they went over there. Yeah, there's the braids. She had apologized for
Who's
braids.
that?
That's her. It's Katy Perry. Damn.
What?
Tatas. Hello, tatas.
She look good there.
She look good.
She look good there.
So they went over to Japan to talk to these folks, and they universally were saying when they interviewed people in the street that they're happy that someone is expressing Japanese culture and that they're aware of Japanese culture, and they thought it was a very good thing. They didn't think it was bad at all.
Interesting.
Like they don't have the same feelings about cultural appropriation as some people do with fucking braids.
Yeah, I get it. Well, but it's the United States.
Right. We're sensitive.
We're super sensitive. We've gotten very sensitive. You know what it is? It all comes from the litigious culture. That's
think so?
Oh, absolutely. The fact that you can get sued for anything, anybody
Right.
can sue you at any time. That's just like that's American culture. That's what you do. It's like, you know what? You pissed off someone, like enough, you can sue them. Like, and so there's a lot of like suing, and enough successful cases along the way. That's part of it's like a fear-based operating system.
Right.
So
Calling people on shit. that
Yeah.
maybe they didn't even think was bad.
yeah, it's like a combination of like someone like it's a good service to be able to sue someone if you needed to.
Yes.
However, it's abused up the yin yang, and there's like professional lawyers that have billboards everywhere.
But do you think Katy Perry was worried about being sued?
No, I'm saying that the sensitivity issue, like
comes from that?
why we're so American culture is so like PC at this point, because it kind of goes hand in hand. It's like a sense of well, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I'm a little bit too stoned, but I will say having that litigious fear-based kind of motivator, or it causes people to want to correct things, like to course correct to a form of something that works for everyone.
To avoid being sued.
To avoid, I mean,
And that
not
permeates-
directly,
Right.
not directly,
But that thought process.
yeah, that thought
mindset.
process. Yeah, that mindset. I think that's because it's about like, oh, okay, well, how can we make this? We have to include everybody on this, which I believe in.
Yeah.
But absolutely. But I think it should be done out of a sense of empathy. You know, and not to say that you know, people fighting for rights to have handicap parking like in the front of a building, like that's just a great idea. But like I'm just saying that what you were kind of referring to, that sensitivity comes from that, where someone's like afraid of doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And it just starts feeding back, and then you get people so fearful of any choice that they're making. Because I feel it, you know, like every time I walk into a grocery store, I'm like, this entire store could be reduced to 5% the volume that it is right now, and the amount of people in that store would have all the products they need. So the inundation of choice, and fear of doing something wrong, whether it's because I want it to look perfect, or I want to look perfect, or whatever it is. Mix that all together, and it's a recipe for
I think it's a
some
factor
problems.
for sure. I think another factor though is that people get to complain, and that people don't like when people are mad at them. So when you have a giant group of people that can communicate instantaneously with anybody at any time, you're going to get more prevalence of complaining. It's the same percentage of people are complaining, but they weren't able to access everyone as they were to get to Katy Perry and bitch about her wearing braids, right? So in the past, like in the Bo Derek days, when Bo Derek wore braids in 10, which is really back before that was nobody was wearing those cornrows.
No one had seen that. Not on that level.
I mean, was that a thing in black culture back then in the Bo Derek days?
What do you mean, like braids?
Yeah, like those, like cornrows.
I think the slave days, since Africa.
The slave days.
Yeah, but like, braids have also been in almost every culture.
Right, braids for sure, but those crazy cornrows like that.
Cornrows.
When do you think those?
That was a direct reference, I think, to
Good Lord, she was hot.
Caribbean.
She was spooky hot.
Yeah, she
would ruin your life. She moved next door.
She was, yeah.
She wouldn't get anything done if you were banging her, dude.
Very interesting.
Because you would have to like keep an eye on her all the time. Where you going? Stay put.
I mean, but at the same time, if you learn to be completely confident next to someone like that, I mean, come on, that's like max confidence.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck.
But I'm just saying.
You and I can't pull it off.
I mean, you couldn't hold it all the time. You couldn't hold it all the time. I would have problems.
You'd have to not want to fuck her. You'd have to like be married and happy and successful and not want to fuck her. And just like really just be comfortable being around her.
You think just because you'd want to have sex all the time?
Just the possibility. The possibility that you could fuck someone that's that hot is always a problem for men. Especially back then.
Yeah. I mean, I think the initial making a move and all that stuff, but I think like obviously if you got used to someone and their personality, like it starts to calibrate. You know, it's not.
She would make
just
you a better
about that.
person. You'd be a better person if you were around her.
She could if she were great. If she could if she had a great attitude and she was a positive person.
Right. You just wanted to like you more,
or maybe not. Maybe Right. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying like. I know what you're saying, but I'm like, at the same time, I take that as a personal challenge to be like, okay, fine. How can I feel confident?
Do it. I can be confident around her. I set it up.
I trust you. I trust me. Everything's going to be totally cool.
I really think that this complaining thing is what's going on. So nobody likes to have people mad at them. You know, and that's why people get mad at people. That's why people get mad at people over nothing. They love to find someone who fucked up and get mad. Like, we were talking about this yesterday, the Anthony Bourdain casual response that he had at the airport by TMZ that became this huge thing where they said, if you had to serve dinner to Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, what would you serve? He goes, hemlock, and then he walks away, which is hilarious.
That's awesome.
Perfect timing.
That's beautiful.
It's a one-liner. It's a joke, you fucks, right?
Very well done.
And then I was reading all the responses on TMZ about, get the Secret Service on him. He's threatening POTUS. Like, it's really where it's like if you are really offended by that, by that, you are such a monumental pussy that you don't deserve to have an opinion on things. Like, if that really bothered you to your core, I can't believe he's threatening POTUS. Like, you are such a fucking baby that you shouldn't be allowed to talk about things. Your opinion, it can't get in. It can't get in. You're not allowed. And there was hundreds of those people that were commenting on the TMZ thing. And I realized, like, this is just a consequence of people being able to communicate openly, anybody.
Sure.
So because of that, you're getting so
in
many
the
people
moment that they're feeling it.
Yes, and you're getting so many people whose opinions just you don't care for. You don't want to hear.
Sure.
You don't appreciate or respect their intellect, and they're spouting out nonsense. But if you're a person who has to hear that, it hurts. If you read something that's someone's saying really mean shit about Katy Perry and her hair, this fucking bitch thinks she's going to appropriate black culture and this and that.
Right.
Fuck you, ho. And she starts reading that. The panic that sets in, thinking that poor Katy Perry, there's bodyguards with fucking machine guns looking out the windows, and Katy Perry is in her Beverly Hills mansion, and all these girls are, I'll fucking cut you, ho. Oh no, they're going to cut me. Oh no. She's like a little water balloon walking around her Beverly Hills mansion with her soft body. So worried.
That's tough, man.
This fucking bitch thinks she can take our hair. Fuck you, bitch.
But has she said that she's worried about that stuff?
No, I'm just making
I see. You're just no.
Formulating a scenario.
I get
man.
it.
This is like drama here.
Well, yeah, it's
fiction.
It's so funny. I mean, like for me, I read almost all tweets, like, because there's not that many actually in mentions.
Right.
Yeah,
so you read almost all the ones that come to you? You
Yeah.
should have never said that. You fucked up, son.
Yeah.
You made a big mistake.
Yeah. No, I tell people, I've told the people that before. I mean, I'm not responding to all of them, and I might not get everyone, but I'm just saying in general, it's not that bad. Like, it's like I can actually read through a lot, and it's always interesting. Like, if someone brings up a point, sometimes they'll attack at a really hostile angle. Like, at first they'll be like, you know, you're not funny, blah 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 blah, whatever. And I'll be like, and so I'll either do two things. I'll either like answer it in an interesting way that kind of addresses their point, or I'll be like, okay, why do you feel this way? And then talk about it, and through a few exchanges, and oftentimes at the end of it, someone's like, oh, thanks for taking the time. I'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. I was just wondering what you meant. That's all.
Yeah.
I like criticism. I don't mind criticism. I'm not going to be like, if I had a shitty show and someone was like, yeah, it wasn't so great, I'd be like, you know what? You're right. It wasn't that great. And which I love. I love like having that dialogue and just being like, either open. Some things I don't answer, but you know, most things I'll if it has a good point, you know, I'll go for it.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to communicate with people has its pros and cons for sure.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of pros.
You got to be able to, you know, you got to moderate yourself, and you got to create some filters, and like understand like how to just process something very quickly and just be like, is this worth energy or not? Yeah. Okay. No energy.
But when you're someone like Katy Perry too, you're riding on this wave of popularity. I mean, it's not to say that she's not talented. She certainly is a talented singer and performer, but a big part of who she is relies on her attractiveness and her cultural relevance, like how famous she is right now. I mean, she's a part. She's not like, we're not talking about like, you know, Liz Phair or Cat Power or someone who's just like only doing their
Lisa
shit.
Loeb.
Yeah, someone who's only doing their shit, and you either like it or you don't like it. No, she's like. She's a rocket
she's a pop
ship
star.
she's a pop star through culture. And what are you doing? What are you showing me here?
100 million followers.
104 million followers on Twitter. I'd like you to do a Twitter audit on that, because I'm not buying 104. I'll buy 85.
The David Bowie image is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I guess that was probably
in really well done.
In cultural appropriation. That's what that was. She's got mostly
British culture.
real, mostly fake. Yeah. Wow, 58 million fake. So Katy Perry, you fucking hoe. I don't mean that, Katie. Katie, I'm just joking around. Don't get mad at me. We could sit on a couch together with no shoes on, and we'll work through this. But your account's fake.
I'll have to wear booties though,
booties,
or maybe Uggs.
You know what I wear? I'll make everybody uncomfortable and wear those 5-finger Vibrams.
Oh, please never do that.
I wear them all the time.
Never do
Even
it.
43 million real is...
Get some fake toes for the front of it.
It's a lot.
Snap-on toes. What did you say?
I said even 43 million real ones is a fucking
no, it's not a lot.
Of course.
If you would have said 44, I would have been like, absolutely. But 43, fuck that.
Listen, it might not even be her fault. It might be that she's so famous she attracts fake bots and accounts. It's entirely possible.
That's all.
Just joking around. But there was a thing that recently about Donald Trump's Twitter followers went up by 30 million or some crazy shit. Yeah. Wasn't it something like that? Like real quick? Yeah. And people are like, those are all bots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all artificial inflation. Well, it's like the king has no clothes. But, well, you know, the thing before that, what you were saying about pop star, like, you know, on how you look and your relevance, that's absolutely true. And that's the thing I always feel for, in a way. I feel for people that base their careers on that, because there's a way you can always transition, for sure.
It's rough.
Like, you could do it, but when you're someone like Joni Mitchell, you know, who both was very striking, but obviously involved in the music that she made. She was responsible for what she was making, and you knew that it was her. Whereas a pop star is like, I don't know, they're using Stargate from Sweden. They're using the writing team. They're using a writing team from Australia. They're using like whatever. You never know who's involved. And sometimes maybe she writes her thing, because I know that she plays guitar and writes original music.
Well, that's the thing about what's the skinny chick?
Back in the day.
Taylor Swift. The thing that people enjoy about the skinny chick. Sorry, Taylor. The thing that people really enjoy about Taylor Swift is that she is a songwriter. She composes her own stuff. There's a vast majority that is getting angry at ex-boyfriends, but hey, that's her prerogative. That's what she likes to do. She's a young gal.
Hey,
she's very sensitive.
That happened to her.
Don't break her heart, bitch. She'll write a song about you.
Yeah. Or someone just might, just because they want that. They value that over the relationship.
Right. Yeah, they were just going for that. Just trying to get that Kardashian thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get a little fame off that song. Just throw some bad dick her way. Get her angry enough to put pen to paper.
Hey, it's a strat.
She'll fuck you up with a song, though, dude. She comes hard.
Don't let it happen.
She throws haymakers.
Is that about John Mayer? I mean, Joni Mitchell did that, right?
Sure. A lot of them.
Or no,
did
Carly
that.
Simon.
Carly Simon, yeah. You're so vain.
You probably think the song is about you. You're so vain, so vain. You think the song is about you, don't you? Oh, man, come on.
You walked in to the party like you were walking into a yacht.
It's amazing. So I mean, some
That's
people.
a girl that's mad she's not getting that good dick anymore. Angry, he's got other choices. Angry, he's decided to just live his life as a sexual vagabond. You can't just accept him for the freak that he is. Just let him just wander through the world. It's okay. Like you had a brief time with him. But no, people when they fuck, they want to own. They own each other. You know? Or he might have been vain.
Well, you know, he might have just been a liar.
Ooh, yeah. Or it might have been annoying.
Because then it's like, well, it's not really about that. A lot, you know, it's like, what was the thing that happened with Kevin Hart recently, where he just got in front of it. Like there was a woman that he ended up getting together with one night in Las Vegas, but it was like kind of a team, like kind of catfish a little bit to like they got a tape of him or something like that. And this is me just hearing it from other people. So this is how informed I am. But I will say the point is they tried to extort him, but he just immediately told his wife and told everybody. It's just like, yeah, I fucked up. And she's like, hey man, as long as he comes back to me, you know, makes. Wow. I mean, I'm totally paraphrasing everything.
I see what you're saying.
But what for her, it's like he didn't lie.
How fascinating is it that there's people that would like target him as like an opportunity? Like he's sort of wholesome in a way, but also funny. You know?
Yeah.
What's so funny, Jamie? What do you
after they're going after NBA players and athletes and NFL players just like that too, targeting them and like looking at their Instagram account, know where they're going to be.
Yeah.
So they just treat it as like a business proposition.
Yeah. It's like ransomware, but it's the human version.
Hilarious. It's a weird time.
It is a weird time
for stuff like that. You know, it's a weird time for just the interaction that we all have with each other. It's just very strange. It's like it's all like the possibilities of where this would go. It used to seem like I kind of saw how the world was going to go. Like I remember like being a kid and being worried about the war with Russia. Remember that, right? Do you remember like always being worried?
Yeah,
God, we're
that felt good.
War.
That was a good kind of fear.
Yeah,
it felt good. It was It's nostalgic now.
But once that sort of dissolved, I felt like I kind of had a sense, at least in some rough form, of what the future was going to be like. Things are going to get better. People are going to get smarter. Life is going to advance. And then all of a sudden the internet came along. And then any ideas that I had had about what the future was going to be like were now like, well, fucking who knows? And it kept getting more who knows and more who knows. And the who knows that I'm at right now is just like, fuck, man, where is this going? Like, I really think it's going to some weird virtual reality thing that people are going to plug into, and it's going to be better than life.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're designing a better interface for it all the time.
Yeah.
But right now we're limited to like little glowing rectangles.
We are, but the kids that are super into video games, they're essentially experiencing it right now, just in a weird, you know, they're like right in front of the screen, like playing games.
That's what I'm doing.
Do you do that all the time?
Yeah.
I did, dude. I had an issue for a few years with Quake. Playing online.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Which is really fun, multiplayer, but I shy away from computer games now because of that.
Too immersive, too addictive.
For me, yeah, man, I'm not good at not doing things I enjoy constantly.
Well, my thing is it's like for me it's kind of like short stories. So like binge watching, like I'll choose the easiest setting and
so you're playing a video game though, where you're not interacting with other people online.
Yeah, I'm playing by myself.
Okay.
Or co-op. That my thing is like I think games. This is something when you're talking about like where's it going. I think what will help and what I think people really dig is I think people are gonna get tired of these first-person shooters. Like it's always like shooter, shoot,
Right.
explode, shoot. I don't mind necessarily doing that. I like it when it's more cartoony. That's why I'm a fan of Borderlands. It's kind of like this cool, like cell-shaded kind of. It looks like you're playing a comic book,
puzzle solving and stuff.
No, it's a first-person shooter with lots of guns, lots of explosions, but everything is like cartoony and Mad Maxy.
Oh, okay.
So it's, but not like crazy cartoony, like just like comic book cartoony.
Right.
So there's like this cool joyfulness to it.
You got a video of that? I'd love to see what that looks like.
Yeah, check out some Borderlands 2.
I've seen picture ads, I think.
Yeah,
like at the mall when you walk by the video game store.
Yeah, you'd see it. It kind of looks like a Mad Max thing. Like there's always like some guy with a gun. He's got his fingers to his head like he's blowing his brains out. And then there's like some graphic. Like, there you go.
Oh, yeah. And the dude's wearing a gas mask. See if you can find a video.
Yeah.
See what this looks like.
It's a really fun game. And you can play co-op.
How often do you play this sucker?
I mean, I'm playing Divinity 2 right now.
Dude, you're an addict, huh?
I like it. Well, not that.
Look at this. This is dope. Is this what it looks like when you're playing it?
There's someone playing it right now.
This is someone playing it right now? This is live?
The top thing that popped on Google was someone on Twitch playing.
So we're watching someone live on Twitch play. Okay,
yeah,
here's
I don't know
the
what
question.
he's doing, though.
Why is it so compelling? And it is compelling. But why is it so compelling watching people play games?
It's hard to explain.
I think it's because it's like a movie, but it simulates like real time action.
Right.
And from, the first person point of view. And so it's kind of exciting. It's like, did you ever see Hardcore Henry?
No, I did not.
That movie is shot all first person.
Yeah, I heard it was awesome.
It's amazing. It's some of the best fight stunt work I've ever seen. The choreography is insane, and the action
is
sequences.
super compelling. I feel like my 7-year-old now. Like if I take my 7-year-old to a restaurant and the TV's on, they stare at the TV. Little kids like stare at TV.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Like you're talking about Hardcore Henry. I'm like, yeah, probably pretty cool. But meanwhile, I'm just staring at this fucking video game.
Well, this is also a weird level. This is like some weird like extra thing. This isn't the game because the game looks even more like deserty, cartoony. This is like some like bonus.
Well, whatever it is, it's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, it's like use that one like Sanctuary.
Jamie, these are all people playing on Twitch?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was hoping you were gonna go to talk about this game. This is a new game that's gotten really popular right now.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Popular using Twitch, really. So this is a battle royale game, sort of like the Hunger Games, if you've seen that.
It's sick.
9 tips for combat supply. So like, what can you survival? What can you use? You could use a gun or a bow.
So you drop 100 players drop into a map.
Yeah.
It's an island.
Yep.
It's about 5 square miles. You either drop in
and
by
the
yourself
border
or with
encroaches over time.
Yeah, and then a circle comes in and starts killing you as you come in. And you
Yeah,
have to
it's
find
a kill zone that slowly starts moving in.
all of the guns and anything you find in the map is randomly placed around the map. So everyone starts as scratch with just a fist. And your goal is to survive or play hide and seek.
Yeah.
So either you become the badass that kills everyone,
or you get jacked.
Or you just hide
You
the
just
whole
survive
game.
to the end.
But meanwhile, people are watching this on Twitch also.
But it's compelling.
The most popular thing to watch on there,
That's
too.
amazing.
It makes sense though because like you're seeing all these people. It's like watching a gladiator match.
Yeah, but hold on. If they're watching it on Twitch, can someone have a chat in the other screen where the person who's playing can read the chat and read where people are?
I've been doing that recently, and like they can talk to me while I'm playing. They give me tips. Sometimes I'll miss something, like I'll skip a scope and like, hey, you missed the scope or you missed that awesome gun. Go back and get it. And like,
right, but my question is it possible for them to also be monitoring the other people on the game and tell you where those people are?
It's not. That's called stream sniping, and that's a cheating thing that's sort of being handled right now.
How's this being handled?
You can delay your stream a little bit. You can hide different things that give away your location on the map.
Interesting. Like it's a setting that you can have.
Well, I think that's just a problem with people being able to chat with each other.
A little bit. So like Mighty Mouse is actually doing this too, and he did a custom game with all of his fans and 100 people that were just watching him. I jumped in too. We're all playing, and Rampage does this too, and people end up going to attack them because they want to be the guy that killed Mighty Mouse in the game or whatever it is, but like they're just
so
watching
funny.
his thing.
I want to be the one to kill.
That's amazing.
He's gonna, But the thing that I like co-op games. So I like fighting AI with other humans, like like people either like that are coming because what I discovered when I was playing, what is it called? The game with the mechs.
The mechs?
The new one?
Yeah, new one.
What is mechs?
Mechs are robot suits, exoskeletons.
Oh, okay.
But more like walking tanks. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like a hugely popular game. But I was playing it, and it's one of those like massive multiplayer games, and like every time it starts, like there's all these people running around, and you don't know anybody. You might, but I didn't, and I would just get killed within milliseconds.
Did you ever play Unreal?
It wasn't fun.
Did you ever play Unreal?
No, Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, well,
No.
Unreal and Unreal Tournament. That was another one that kind of like
Gotcha.
came
like
after
Quake-like.
the Quake-like, and they had all these crazy cool weapons and amazing graphics.
That's what these all are.
Yeah.
They're all that. It's like massive weapon systems. You're switching weapons constantly. You can craft weapons. You can collect ingredients to craft weapons. Like Divinity 2 is an interesting. Titanfall.
Yeah.
Titanfall. Oh yeah, it's a huge game, right?
Yeah, it's massive.
You climb
massive.
in there.
It's gorgeous. I love mech suits. Like, who doesn't like being like? Were you talking about being the Hulk?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you get to be. Like this massive machine.
This is awesome.
It's really cool. But I was just like so bad at it that I was just constantly getting killed.
These fucking kids today,
and it wasn't
They're too
fun.
good at games.
And I was like, this is cool. You know, it's cool to imagine, you know, yourself in these like situations. It's cool. But I also like playing cooperatively. So if I was doing this, playing with other players, and I had a team, I guess that would be something I would try. Being on a team against other human beings.
It's just so fucking much time you have to take out of your life to play these things.
Well, here's the thing that you might get into: warehouse scale RPG, VR RPGs.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
I've heard they're trying to set up. Wasn't there a place that was doing a virtual reality in Utah? Wasn't it like in Utah?
Oh, you think it's Salt Lake City, the Void?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're setting up a whole like environment.
Yeah, they have one set up. Yeah, it's great. They did the Ghostbusters thing at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in New York for the Ghostbusters.
The future of virtual reality, Time magazine.
It's crazy. Like, you wear a backpack. It's a backpack computer, so you're wireless. And then they have custom goggles that they fit on you.
Look at this shit.
And all of this is mapped in an environment. So you're holding the guns. You look down. You see the gun. The gun moves when you move it.
So these people are walking through some environment. This is insane.
Yeah. So it's mapped. So this is what you're seeing in the reality. Yeah. And so if certain things, you know, it depends on how one-to-one. I hope that in the future with real-time data capture, with cloud capture, you'll be able to pick up objects. Like, it'll actually be able to track a teddy bear, and you reach out and the teddy bear's there. It's lined up well, so you naturalistically grab it. You squeeze it, and in real time, the system is reading it, so it's actually puppeting all the objects in the room. So yeah, and then the floor rumbles. There's steam that comes out, you know, kind of like a ride, but you are the visual component. You're hijacked.
So right now it's just Ghostbusters? Is that what it is?
Ghostbusters and the Void. The Void is, I think it's public. I think you can go there. Yeah, so the Void, but there's a place that's opening up hopefully in Los Angeles, which is totally rife for it because there's a huge VR community here. Down Santa Monica, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's like at least like 5 major players, in like a Santa Monica area.
Major players? What do you mean by major players?
Like people,
like humans, like big time players,
like Weaver. You know,
like they have stars.
They have titles that they're working on. And they have experiences, you know, what some people call simulations, experiences, interactive experiences, or just like puzzles or whatever. Like, there's people innovating for VR. So they're production companies that make VR videos. They encode, they code, they create software, or they're just really good at capturing. There's like, you know, 8i, which does like spherical capture. Or volumetric capture, it's called. Yeah, so there's a lot of people here. So the technology is here, and it's always being innovated. But at warehouse scale is the perfect marriage for people, especially in LA, who like to be active. and might feel weird about sitting down in a chair and just staring at a screen with a controller in their hand, but they can understand naturalistic movement.
Right.
And you can, in warehouse scale, you can actually see the size of the room and feel the breadth of the space.
So in that particular video, it seemed like they had chairs and tables and everything like that, but the actual textures on those chairs, that was all added later.
Yes, all the graphics.
So the objects were real.
Yes,
but they looked
some
way
of the
different.
Objects. Some of the objects. Yeah. Like the major obstacles are there. Yeah, the table.
The chair was crazy because they have a chair in the video game that was. It seemed to me to be very different, like the brick walls.
Yes, totally. That's what I mean. It's not 1-to-1. It's just like it's just a basic representation. But I'm saying in the future, you'll actually be able to just have like a movie set.
Yeah,
and the system will be able to. It will already have a preloaded, pre-scanned, sized version of that room, but then there'll be sensors that are real-time calibrating it to make sure that it's like rock solid. So when you reach out, you're like, oh, I don't feel like I had to move my hand a little higher to grab this.
Right, you can just reach out and it's right there.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 representation.
Do you think that the chair is bolted to the ground? Wow, look at these people all walking through there.
Yeah.
Where is this that they're doing that?
This was called VRcade. This might have been a
VRcade
demonstration. And
this is fucking insane. If this is the future, man, it's going to be really, really weird.
I know.
I mean, it's going to be so weird.
I mean, imagine like if the mapping becomes so like rock solid that you could reliably run up a flight of stairs.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
I mean, that sounds like a whatever, but it's like it's not.
And then once it becomes wireless. I mean, remember when the only way to get to the internet. Yeah, the only way to get to the internet was to have an Ethernet cable connected to your device, right? Now that's silly. I don't have an Ethernet cable anywhere. No, I don't even know where to get one.
The only problem with VR is that the processing power. So for a while, it had to be tethered to a PC. Right. Now they have PC backpacks.
Well, now I guarantee you what they're going to have is like one of those. You know how you get one of those 5-charge battery packs for a phone where you can recharge it 5 times?
Totally.
They're going to get one of those bitches. It's going to hook up to your phone, and everything's going to take place. All the processing is going to be on your phone.
Totally.
You're going to have a Bluetooth headset, and you're going to be able to go out into a park and do this shit.
Yeah, it'll be like Bluetooth 15.0.
Yeah, like you and your friends, you'll just have to walk across the park. Like, you remember when you first got an iPhone and you had to do the fingerprint a bunch of times?
Yeah.
Like in all sorts of different ways, the side, and the front, and the back. That's what you'll have to do. You're like, okay, define your parameters. All right, here we're out in the park, and everybody will walk through the park together and crisscross, and then once the computer has enough data, they go, okay, processing, the game begins in 10, 9,
totally.
8, and then zoom, you're in Avatar world.
It just transforms. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, you have augmented reality and virtual reality.
Yeah.
Augmented reality is interesting. With Microsoft's HoloLens uses this real-time, basically can see the environment around it by mapping it. So it stereoscopically maps it, and it creates a really quick texture map of the environment that you're in. So imagine that mixed with like the idea behind I forget the name of the project, but it was my early Microsoft project where it's basically scraped all relevant types of photos and like stitched them together and created virtual 3D environments of locations based on photographs that are everywhere on the internet. So it could recreate a plaza in Italy, and then using like kind of interpolation, like the AI software, kind of stitching it together, blah, blah, blah. So imagine that existing already just because people are passing by with their phones, they're taking pictures, they're taking video. So all of that data is now present according to the location that you're at, mixed with headsets that are able to scan in real time collectively, that also gets processed and stitched together, cross-referenced together, so that instantaneously you can have a mapped, almost 1-for-1 game zone in a giant park. Like, pretty quick. And just like how you described it, but like using things that are in the headset that are tracking in real time and then transmitting, or that are completely internal to the headset, and then also networked intelligence too simultaneously.
And then also probably some fake stuff that they can create visually and with 3D sound.
Totally.
Where you can see, like, if you're doing an Avatar game, you can see the dragons flying overhead. You're like, Jesus.
Well, the HoloLens does that. It's got these 2 little slits. They're not even like regular speakers. They're slits that are above your ears that are pointed down. It's like almost like a hypersonic sound. Like sound that can be basically paper thin. So if I move the axis, you can't hear it. And then if I move it back on axis and you haven't moved your head, you'll hear it specifically in one tiny thin slice of audio.
Wow.
And so it has to be very precise. So it's a form of that, but they're just pointing down, and they can simulate Dolby 5.1 binaurally, which is insane.
Think about how crazy like your earplugs are, right?
Yeah.
Like look at this little tiny ass speaker.
Yep.
This little tiny ass speaker, when it's in your ear, I mean, it can get too loud. Like if I listen to music sometimes, it can get too loud with these things.
And I got to get you better headphones.
These are great.
They're good.
What's wrong with them?
They're
the ones
good.
that come with the iPhone.
Yeah, they're okay. They have a lot of high end, which is not good for your hearing.
Oh, not good for your hearing.
Yeah, I like things that are soft on my ears, but I can hear clearly. It's about precision.
The difference? Does this fucks your ears up?
I would say like Sures are really. It depends on what you're using for. I have Sures. I think the ear pods actually sound really fucking great.
Yeah.
So I like the ear pods.
They're better.
I like them better than the headphones that come standard. Anytime headphones are included, they're okay, but they're not like great.
Oh.
I mean, on an Apple standard, better than most, but
the earpods are more precise.
The earpods just sound natural. They sound like I'm really surprised. I'm prepared for them not to sound good almost every time I use them, but they sound great because they don't seal the ear. They sit in the ear, but the design is so ingenious that even when I'm working out, I'm like on the bench, getting up, jumping around. They're still not falling out. And they sound great. The bass sounds all natural. And then I'll put in like a high-end pair. I have like a crazy amount of headphones. And I'll put in some like crazy headphones, like some Audis, whatever, planar, magnetic bullshits. Like little tiny ones that don't require much power. A phone would power it fine. But I put those in and I'm like, oh, wow, that sounds really small. Like I have to adjust to its detail, whereas the iPods, like as soon as I put them in, I'm like, oh, that just sounds like a nice, perfect frequency curve. It feels very flat and real.
Wow, that's a strong endorsement.
Pretty good. Yeah, I was like very impressed with them.
I bought them and I never opened the box.
Really?
Yeah, I got it sitting at home.
They're easy to pair, man, and it's cool because I just have them in my jeans all the time.
Oh, right,
and
the little
easier
tiny
to
thing.
handle than this wire.
Yeah,
crap.
that wire gets fucked up.
Yeah, I just pull it out, and it's so fun because the way it snaps closed and open magnetically is so satisfying.
How long does the battery life last on those suckers?
I think it's 8 hours.
Really?
I think with the case, the charge case recharges
Young James
twice.
got it right there.
Yeah, they pair with the Apple Watch too, so you can leave your phone at home.
I have the new Apple Watch. So
Did you get the 3?
LTE, yeah. Series 3, brah.
So what's the deal with the 3? What's better?
LTE.
Now you can leave your phone at home and just take your watch?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable enough with your life to do that?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to a concert or something like that, like,
Right.
I think what's great about this, and when I saw people talking about, like, what do you think about the Apple Watch when they first announced it? There were so many people that were like, it's so stupid. You already have a phone. Why do you need why does your watch need to be a phone? And they're saying all of these things related to that. And I'm like, guys, you don't get it. It's about having to not manage a physical object. It's the watch is on your wrist. It just stays on your wrist the whole day. I mean, unless you take it off or whatever. But most of the time, you just leave it on the whole day, and it's always there. You don't have to manage it. Like if you want to make a call, you make a call. If you want to take a call, you have your ear pods. You can do a full call. You can listen to your music on it.
How much power battery wise does that thing have? Like,
I think on LTE, what is it, like 5 hours?
That's ridiculous.
Something like that.
What do you live in a half a day?
I haven't used it yet.
Figure it out, you fucks.
It's
get it so that thing works better.
Yeah, that's like all LTE, but realistically, you're not going to be on LTE all the time. So depending on your usage, I think it'll last. I mean,
is that 5 hours of talking?
I think of LTE, like talking or something like that. But I think for me, I'm like around 67, 74% every day.
Really?
At the end of every day, so I can go a couple days without charging it. Actually.
Ooh, bold move though.
I know. I like it though. I like it.
I feel like a rebel.
I like pushing it, man. No,
those wireless pads are going to be everywhere soon enough.
Yeah, I'm using it on my
iPhone.
Yeah,
work on that too, or the watch rather.
Yeah. I just got the 8 Plus and just set it
you
right
got
on
the 8
there.
Plus. Are you going to get the 10 as well? Are you a hedonist?
Yeah,
you're a crazy person.
I have like almost every top of the line phone because I want to know Android because I have a T-Mobile account and an AT&T account.
So you want to learn Android? So you're fucking around with it?
So I'm always like updating. I just want to know how what's the UI philosophy? Like, what do they think is interesting? And because they're too divergent, but they're very similar. And so I like to check out like, oh, what's the difference? That's really frustrating that iPhone doesn't do that. That's frustrating that this doesn't do that.
For me, if it wasn't for AirDrop, AirDrop's kind of keeping me on board.
Yep.
Like I realized how much I liked that once I tried the Google Pixel, which I really liked.
Yeah, that's a great phone.
It's a great phone. And the Pixel 2 is supposed to be even better. But the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 might be the best phone in the world, they say.
Yeah, I have the 8. I have the 8 Plus. It's very beautiful.
The Note Plus?
Is the 8.
Note?
No, I'm not going to do the Note.
8 Plus.
Yeah, Galaxy 8 Plus, yeah. But the Note is,
Note 8.
similar, same thing.
Right.
But it's got obviously the stylus.
The pen, yeah.
And there's a couple other features. I think the camera's the same. But it's just got a couple extra features, so I just stick with the smaller.
What do you think about
8 Plus. The 8 Plus?
Yeah.
I love it. The screen is gorgeous.
Amazing, right?
It is the colors are just insane. It's really beautiful.
And once you have no bevel,
yeah.
you look at it.
Yeah.
Is it bezel?
Bezel.
Why did it say bevel?
I thought you might have said
thing.
bezel.
That's like something you groove,
because it's
right?
soft enough of a V. I was like, he said bezel, but it just sounded weird.
It through. I called myself out on it.
That's a good job, man.
But that's so much more beautiful than seeing that edge. That edge is like the obvious edge at the bottom of the iPhone where your fingerprint scanner goes, and the top of the iPhone where the speaker is.
The chin
looks clunky.
Yeah, it's totally clunky, and it's it's the next step before augmented reality glasses, so that your phone are your glasses.
When I look at the Note 8, Red Band has the Note 8. It looks like Minority Report. I'm looking at this. I'm like, wow, like that is a whole. That's a whole all screen.
Yeah, you're holding the screen.
It's all screen. This is like the future.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah, it legitimately feels to me like a big step up from like a regular phone. I look at that and I'm like, okay, this is obviously next level.
Yeah, I got the Essential phone too, just to see what that display was like, to kind of get a preview for the iPhone 10.
The iPhone 10 is going to be insane. That's going to blow it all out of the water.
It's great. I mean, I will say that their product design has been like, there was like a period where I'm like,
Like what?
Just kind of like their last few iterations of computer. I mean, I always get the new everything from Apple pretty much, and then just either sell or like find like someone who needs a computer or whatever and just give it to them. But so I cycle through a lot of technology. And just for a while, the laptops were cool. They were like some nice improvements. I mean, I like the MacBook Pro design is like pretty cool. I like the strip. I thought it was going to be a gimmick. The strip
becomes an issue with me because I have fat fingers and sometimes I hit Siri accidentally.
Oh yeah, I disable Siri.
I did disable
it for the laptop.
No, but I did too. But it doesn't matter when I accidentally hit the button. It says Siri's disabled. Would you like it to go on?
Turn it on.
I'm like, no,
assholes. Fuck. See, that's what I'm talking about. But
that's me.
But it
shouldn't be there.
Apple. It's also Apple.
I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there where the fucking delete key is. If your finger slips and goes up there, it just falls in there. Boom. Would you like to enable Siri? No, you bitch. See, it's saying it right now.
I don't like it.
Cancel.
Nope. Just learn. You know what I mean? Just learn. I want my technology to learn better. It's not learning very well.
The thing about being able to switch windows on the bar is kind of interesting, but quite honestly, I never use it either.
Never use it.
I would prefer mechanical buttons for sound too.
I agree with that. It's way faster. Yeah. It's way faster to just reach instead of...
You have to press it once, and then you have to press it again, and then you have to adjust the sound.
Yeah.
Like, why don't I have just a plus and a minus like normal?
I know. There's probably a keyboard combo you can use. I think it's Command Apple or plus.
The only other complaint that I would have is I really like a tactile, mechanical feeling keyboard when I write in particular.
Bigger keyboard, a bigger key throw, travel.
I like this one because I like this new MacBook Pro better than the last MacBook Pro because the last one was kind of mushy a little bit, and this one is more like it seems like real positive feedback when it clicks in. But what I really like is the Lenovo ThinkPads. They have this amazing keyboard that works. It like you feel where the keys are. It's like I type faster with it. It just feels like my fingers.
Certainty.
Yeah, my fingers just can communicate with it better.
Yeah, these are like flat. They're like flat rectangles.
They're not very high off the ground either.
No.
So because of the fact they're not very high off of the rest of the keyboard, you're not sure what you're touching sometimes. Especially if you have calluses, I guess, and if you have sensitive fingers, you know.
I get that.
You have to just understand the spacing of it, but it's almost like they're preparing you for typing on a glass screen the same way you type on your iPhone.
Right. And see, I'm not a big fan of that. I think we should be able to speak to our computers.
Yeah, I mean, and they go, you can just get a keyboard to attach to it. Okay, I don't want that. I wanted this. This is the whole thing for a laptop in the first place.
Totally.
Why don't you sell me a screen and a keyboard?
Yeah, I know, totally.
The fuck are you doing?
I know. But do you have an Echo or any of those things?
Yeah, I got an Echo. I've never set it up. Don't use it. Someone gave it to me as a gift.
I get it, but
it's just sitting there, and I go,
Well, I totally get that. But I will say, I use it for my lights in my house, which is really nice. So as I'm going to bed, I'll just feel like, computer, turn lights off.
Can you change the way you talk to it? Can you say, shut the lights off, bitch?
No, I wish. See, it needs to do that.
Yeah.
We need to be able to do that, but it's gonna get there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's
bitch,
coming.
dim these lights,
and then you can set it up.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you can speak to it super fast.
Oh,
so
really?
I can say, like, I'm in the living room and I want the lights off. I'll just say, computer, turn the living room lights off, and just walk away, and it gets it. It's like immediately on. It's like it hears that prompt. It's on. I'm saying the sentence naturalistically. I'm not saying, hey Siri, how many times have I gone to the bathroom today? You've gone. I'm sorry. I don't know the answer to that. Whatever it is. It's like it's that long. It's that long. Why would I use there's just no reason for me to use something that takes that fucking long to process. It's faster to do voice dictation in a Google app. Right. That you're going to get. But that's a combo. It's like
why is the voice better in the Google apps? They're just better at it.
It is
Apple?
better.
Yeah?
It's their algorithms are better. Like the artificial intelligence is a little bit better.
So like for note keeping and stuff as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can do a little bit more with Google Assistant than you can with Siri. Also, I like the name. I hate it when they name AIs thing like Cortana for Microsoft. I'm like, I don't want to.
Cortana.
Why? I mean, I get it. I like Cortana. She's great. I love Halo. However, I don't need a personality. I want it to be a computer, and I want to just do what I'd like it to do. I don't need to hear like, okay, the sunlight today is really beautiful, but I'd watch out, wear some sunscreen. Unless I wanted that. I want that option, but I also want it to be neutral. Right. So over time, I want an AI to learn what I dig and just kind of do that.
Yeah, there should be an option for whether or not you want it to behave like a corny human.
Yes. I know. Yeah. Some people, I mean, I get it. You want something like that. You want like a little friend or something. I get it. I'd do that. I'd have like a couple different versions of it. If I'm in work mode, I change it to like computer voice. If I'm just like chilling, having a good time with friends, I change it to, hey, party person voice. Hey, all right, that sounds like a great idea. Hey, play some Miles Davis. You know what? I was just thinking of that. Here's some Miles Davis.
Sounds like a great choice.
Yeah, it's really. That's great, man. What else you got?
Yeah, like maybe if you get like John Lee Hooker's voice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You talk to John Lee Hooker everywhere you go.
Yeah, you get like you get linguists and language experts and mimics to like all sit down and create a program so it can actually do impersonations off of like inputting audio, so it could actually become that person.
Look what Jamie just pulled up. Lyrebird allows you to create a digital voice that sounds like you with only 1 minute of audio.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
remember
insane.
That Photoshop for a voice thing?
Yeah.
This is essentially that, and it's already available for you can make your own. You just got to read.
I love it.
Well,
I wonder how good it is.
It's very good.
Is it?
It's getting.
What if you like fuck with it though? That's what I want to use it for.
If you have 40 minutes of your audio, they basically have you.
There's demos of, I think it does Donald Trump's voice here.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God, no way. Love him.
The United States is considering, in addition to other options, stopping all trade with any country doing business with North Korea.
That's
fake.
You know that it's him. You can tell it's synthesized, but you know that it's him.
Sounds amazing though.
That's pretty great.
This is also
I will be meeting General Kelly, General Mattis, and other military leaders at the White House to discuss North Korea.
The middle section was nice. The front and the back were not very good.
Well, I wonder if they're adding that reverberation, that weird.
If it thinks that's part of the audio, like the quality of the audio.
I wonder if they're doing that on purpose because you're talking about the president. Like, can you do an audio version of the president and pretend like that? Like, you might get in like real trouble because that audio could be used. Like, if he never actually said that about not doing business with North Korea, if they didn't make an obviously fake version.
It's pretty.
See if you find another person.
It's pretty terrible.
This is just their demo.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, there's Barack Obama.
Guys.
Here you go.
Yeah, play me some Barack Obama.
I think they're taking tweets and putting that through it.
Oh, okay.
I think that's where
Let's hear it.
Thank you to all the first responders and people helping each other out.
This sounds terrible.
That's what we do as Americans.
But why does it sound so terrible?
Well, the problem too on this, the way they have it set up, like if you and me did it today, they have specific sentences that we would need to read to hit the syllables, and I think they're taking speeches, and they probably tried to find the words as opposed to going directly into their computer program, which it was built for.
The only issue, though, is it doesn't sound good.
Those don't, because they didn't actually have Obama reading specifically for them into their they just took speeches probably and found the words that matched.
Right, but even if they took speeches, it sounds so much shittier than the actual speech itself.
I'll
Like,
try
doesn't
it
even
again
sound
tonight.
close.
Like my friend who showed it to me said he did it himself and got really surprised that he just typed a sentence in and was like, "Holy shit, that sounds like me."
They're going to be able to have people saying all kinds of crazy things.
This is not the Adobe Photoshop one. This is, I think, a small company. So
They're probably going to
Adobe's got a better
make
version.
people have feuds with people by, saying a little, you hear what he said about you, man? You should listen to this. Pretty fucked up. And they're like, what? Well, fuck him. And then that guy says fuck him and says some crazy shit about him. And the next thing you know,
do the reality TV show editing trick where it's just set off camera and you show somebody's reaction to what they heard, and then you can send that to your friend and be like, look, they're fucking pissed at you, and then you start fights. That happens really easily. Really
easily. That could be an app on your phone, just like that app where you put a puppy dog nose on. I mean, how's it any different? As soon as someone gives the green light to put that on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, someone's going to figure out a way to use that to make weird copies of people.
Well, they do have ethics.
There's ethics? Get the fuck out of here with your ethics. Shut up. Once you pee in the pool, you're not extracting that stuff out. Stop.
They have samples they released that public aware.
Yeah. First, to raise public awareness to make people realize the technology exists by releasing audio samples from the digital voices of Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Second, we want to ensure that your digital voice is yours. We are the stewards of your voice, but you control its usage. No one can use it without your explicit consent. Shut your hole. Shut your hole. That's like saying, I can hold my breath forever. Shut up. No, you can't. You can't control that. They have some wonky-ass website where they're trying to pretend like they can control the digital voice that gets printed using their app. Like, the fuck you can. There's once you've made some technology like this, all your silly words that you're writing down, that doesn't mean anything. You're going to violate all the laws, the known laws of technological progression with your disclaimer and release? Fuck off.
That's not. Yeah, it's not really possible because they can tell through analysis. I mean, that's that sound that you're hearing, that whatever.
Yeah,
that's
that
part of the
shitty.
synthesis.
Right.
That's the computer. That's the best it can do right now.
For now, for sure, it's going to get better, and for sure they're not going to be able to control it. Once it's gotten to that stage, it's that crazy. I just think it's a matter of time before we have no idea what the fuck is real and what's not.
But at that point, why not just hire an Obama impersonator? Why?
They're not as good. Because an Obama impersonator, even the best Obama impersonator, is just a facsimile. There's such a difference.
So you're saying that the computer has to. I mean, unless it's just audio being played back, it's still simulating it.
Oh, you mean like a physical? Well, video, that'll be easy. They'll definitely be
video.
able to do that.
They've already done it with video.
Sorry,
what do you want?
Yell out.
Jimmy's screaming over there.
At the very bottom of the site, they had this little disclaimer agreement regarding biometrics. So I clicked it, and right here it's how we disclose biometric data. We may also disclose biometric data in the following circumstances: law enforcement agencies, including a warrant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you basically, this is all CIA psyops, man.
Yeah, man.
The fucking same people keeping the man with his boot heel at your neck.
Keeping the man
They want you to play with a fucking app, man. First they got their fingerprints, man.
Yeah.
They got your fingerprints off your phone,
then
man.
Face data.
They're collecting DNA from your screens when you turn your phone in.
All the data is being stored on a third-party server, which is, it says it right there.
Oh, we're fucked. All that data is going to get scooped up by the Russians. The Russians are going to have all these people talking shit.
That's
they're gonna have heads of industry talking shit about Donald Trump, threatening to kill him. Donald Trump's gonna get crazy paranoid because he doesn't read.
Yep.
And next thing you know, there's a fucking nuclear war going on in the United States.
Oh my god.
Donald Trump is bombing Bill Gates.
Oh my god.
Mark Zuckerberg, he has to fucking hire Mossad to protect him in his mansion because he feels that Donald Trump's trying to assassinate him because he wants to be president.
Oh my god.
I'd vote for Zuckerberg.
I don't know, man.
Dude made Facebook. He wins.
I don't know.
He didn't even make it, apparently. I didn't watch that movie where they say he stole
that's what
he
I'm
might have
saying.
stole Facebook.
That's what I'm saying.
You think he stole Facebook?
I think he stole it a little, but not so much as someone who might be in a band and they break up and they make a song that was kind of based on some riffs, that someone was doing. It's well, it's hard.
Did he steal it a little like Chris Rock's ex-wife steals money from him?
How did she do that?
By just going to court and stealing it.
Oh my God! Just publicly.
Well, you know what they do when you get divorced. They're like, "I want it all, you motherfucker."
Oh, I don't know.
Stealing your money.
I heard.
Half of Chris's act.
Yeah, I mean Eddie. Okay, yeah, Eddie Murphy would definitely talk about that a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, Eddie Murphy used to talk about it with Johnny Carson. Remember? Oh yeah. Because Johnny Carson had to give up like hundreds of millions of dollars to some chick he was briefly having sex with and marrying.
Whoa, heavy.
I mean, not briefly, but not his entire life.
Yeah,
married to her, whatever.
Not equaling that.
She didn't tell a fucking single joke. It wasn't an even deal. But that's stealing, right? So
that's stealing.
That's some stealing too. So did he steal in that way, like Johnny Carson's wife stole?
I mean, I don't know. I think that he just had an idea of what to do with it. So but I don't think that he's necessarily. I mean, I can be proven wrong at any moment, but I don't think he's necessarily an innovator in any way. I think he refined an idea that was pretty obvious.
Right, and MySpace had already existed, right? And
yeah,
some people had
Friendster.
Yeah. Who the fuck used Friendster?
I did.
Jamie was one of the top dogs.
Awesome. I love Friendster.
Jamie had a Friendster T-shirt he wore everywhere.
Go to Friendster now. It's so sad. It's
Is
the
it
saddest.
Still there?
It's still there, but it's owned by someone else.
Is MySpace still there?
MySpace still exists as well.
I'm thinking of going back to MySpace.
Man, I don't know. There's got to be something else.
I think I could bring it back.
I think you could. I mean, but why would you want to?
Friendster living. I'm kidding. Friendster living the game. Friendster is taking a break. The redesigned Friendster came about through enduring passion to make a difference over the what? Make a difference. Make a difference in your bank account. Ho.
Yeah.
Over the years, we have built a vibrant community and received valuable support and encouragement. However, due to the evolving landscape in our challenging industry, the online gaming community did not engage as much as we had hoped for.
Mm-hmm.
Profound development in the gaming industry has also led us to rethink our strategic priorities. We have thus made the decision to take a break and pause our services effective June 14, 2015. That's not a break, kids. You quit.
Yeah.
That's 2 years ago, you fucks.
Yeah, it's a quit.
That's a quit.
That's a hard quit.
2 years in, you got to say, like, if you and your girlfriend are taking a break, it's been 2 years, you're not taking a break anymore.
No.
Right? You guys haven't seen each other in 2 years?
Yeah.
It's over.
I think that's pretty safe.
It's over, Friendster.
Yeah. And then for the internet, I mean, multiply that times 10.
Maybe someone's going to come out with a new one. A virtual
That's what I'm
reality or
saying.
augmented reality based one.
Well, AltSpace almost happened like
What
that.
is that?
I was working with them a lot. They were doing stand-up comedy in basically like a Facebook of VR, so social VR. And that was really fun, and they really helped out amazingly well. They were like the coolest. They were really cool. Justin Roiland and I hung out one night. And we were like together in a graveyard with like 500 of their fans, and we just like fucked around for an hour and 40 minutes. He was at his house with a small team of people making sure he was all good, and he had a motion capture suit or a motion sensor suit, and there it is. And that's me doing stand up. So that's me. I'm moving that character.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in my living room.
Wow.
Just like, hey guys.
I mean, that easily could take the place of touring.
Yeah,
if they had some place where you could interface and you could be on stage in front of, and even if you, how about this? The people go to a place. Like the people actually go to a theater, and you just get live beamed into the theater. You don't have to be there.
Well, they did that with some concerts, right? Like a live broadcast, like simulcast.
Did they?
In theaters. Yeah, like Rolling Stones did or something like that. There's
but
a
that's
version
different
of that.
than a hologram.
No, that's different than like, immersive, like VR.
They did that too. They had to do it with rapper Chief Keef. He was going to do an event, and they were saying like he couldn't go because there's going to be riots and whatnot, so what they agreed to do was have him be a hologram.
Oh yeah, they did that like curved screen projection technology.
There was still riots?
There's still a problem with it, yeah.
Because people don't like him?
No, just he incites the crowds, I guess. I don't know.
Silly.
It's very lit when he performs.
Yeah.
He's a crazy fellow, right? He's a wild one,
yeah. That
Chief Keef. I've seen him on the
I don't know
Instagram.
Him.
Yeah, he's a young, crazy rapper.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's one of the
wild child.
Yeah, very aggressively crazy ones. So they had him as a hologram on stage.
Yeah, so there's real people at this show. And
Let me hear this.
He's just there doing this.
Whoa, this is so strange.
Yeah, they've been doing it in Japan for a while. They have like pop stars, artificial intelligence.
It seems like he has to stand in one place.
Yeah, I think the hologram thing kind of sort of like the Will.i.am situation. Remember, he couldn't, or you can't like walk around the room, but he could talk to someone.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
the Japanese technology, they can walk, but it's like an obvious curved, huge screen.
Can you imagine if you went somewhere to watch a hologram? You'd be so angry at the person that isn't there.
Yeah, yeah.
Why can't you be there?
I know.
You know? Why do you have to?
Well, it'd be weird to go somewhere publicly and then to watch a hologram.
I feel like it's the future, though.
Unless it's someone who doesn't live anymore.
Right, like Tupac. Like when they made Tupac way more jacked than he really is. Did you notice that?
No.
Yeah, when they did the Tupac one, they had him like a CrossFit Tupac. Tupac was in insane shape.
CrossFit.
He really looked like Floyd Mayweather.
That's because he was
so
he was a pretty wiry.
Yeah, look at him. Look at him.
Oh no.
Yeah, come on, dude.
No.
He's super jacked Tupac. That's a Tupac that's doing jiu-jitsu 5 times a week, right? That Tupac's got a 6-pack. He's got big muscles. Tupac was never that
really
big.
Is that video footage?
Yeah, this is from Coachella.
Oh, but they made it holographic.
It looks so
Oh
fake.
no, but I mean the footage, or did they generate it?
Oh, they generate it. This is all
The
hologram.
performance?
Yeah, this is all CGI.
It's a body double.
Was it a body double?
Pretty sure.
Oh, well, that's part of the problem. They used some body double who's jacked. They should have told that dude he's got to lay off the weights for a couple of years if you want to play Tupac.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they would have been able to track his recorded performance from the 90s. You know?
Well, this guy who they used as a body double, they got overzealous because he's way too big. I mean, he's like 20 pounds heavier, right? I'm not. Am I exaggerating?
I think he was wiry. He was wiry.
Yeah, but this guy's not wiry. This guy's jacked.
Yeah, he's
this guy looks like an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
He's built like Tyron Woodley almost.
Side by side.
They have a side by side.
He's Captain Jack.
Yeah, he's
Captain Jacked.
He's built like George St. Pierre. Like that's a good comparison. Not quite Tyron Woodley levels, but pretty fucking jacked. You got a side by side?
No,
they don't have one between the real Tupac and the fake Tupac.
Let's just came up and said it wasn't actually a hologram, and I'm trying to see what they're saying, what that means.
Well, CGI generated then?
Special effects studio made it. Yes, expensive CGI.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. So maybe they used a body double to track the movements, and then they got overzealous when they went to give him 6-packs and pecs and
just like they made the new Star Wars figurines are like all jacked. They're all like super muscular. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Like
are you
Luke Skywalker's jacked?
Yeah,
really?
It was like late '90s Star Wars or something like that. Yeah, it's like superhero bullshit.
But people wanted superhero bullshit back then. Like, if you tried to put out a figurine of someone who wasn't jacked, people were used to superhero figurines.
I know. I was like, it's just so dumb, though. It's like, I want something that looks like the thing. I don't want to fucking cheat, because otherwise it looks cheap. It looks lazy. It's just lazy.
Close here.
There's what?
Close to side by side.
Yeah, but that's not
There's
really.
There's got to be one where he doesn't have his shirt on.
He's just pulling up
though.
his shirt to show the Thug Life tattoo.
Yeah, you got to get the whole.
Yeah. That guy's way more jacked. Trust me.
There you go. That's a picture of him right there.
Yeah, see? I mean, come on. Just get the fuck out of here.
He's smaller.
Way smaller.
He's wired. He looks like a lightweight boxer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he looks like.
I mean, he's in shape, for sure.
He's definitely in shape. He's not fat, but look at that guy.
He's not that.
I mean, come on. That guy's super duper jacked.
Yeah, I don't know where they got those proportions from.
If you're going to be that jacked, like, you really have to not eat anything that's bullshit.
Oh, I know.
Like, you can't be fucking around at all. Not even slightly.
No, it's just like all like straight protein, super clean. Like just broccoli, chicken breast, egg whites.
No beers.
No, not one beer at all.
No.
And like water, no salt.
No salt.
No salt. And in fact, one day you'll probably fast, or you'll like overwater, like by gallons and gallons, then not drink for 2 days.
Probably take diuretics before you do this.
Yeah,
shoot.
diuretics. Yeah, totally.
If they made one of you, would you let them add a little bit of extra water weight, or would you tell them to fucking slim you down?
No, I'd say leave me the way I am. They already did. I'm in that EA video game.
Like a real life hologram. Then
Really?
If they had that UFC fight in real life and we got to watch it, you'd be.
I would say leave me the way the fuck I am, man. Don't make me look more muscular than I really am.
It's more immersive.
Yeah, in the EA video game, that's my actual body. They took fucking hundreds of pictures. They have you stand. They rotate around you with a camera. They have this thing that spins around you and takes photos of you from all these different precise angles. You have to do all these different things with your body. You have to do things with your arms. You have to stand with your hands up. You have to extend your fists.
Yeah, they're doing a combination volumetric capture and optical capture.
That's what I actually look like.
And so they skin you. There you go. They basically skin the optical information stitched with a little bit of CG.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, see that looks like a person. That looks like a real person. That's what a person looks like. I mean, your face does look a little uncanny valley.
Yeah.
But you're just like video game character.
They're about 5 years away from that not existing anymore, right? 5 years away from just freaking you the fuck out with reality.
Like Avatar did a great job.
Yeah.
That CG was like, I mean, half of it was the actor's face.
Right.
But the rest of it, I mean, it looked very natural.
What's really cool is that
For an alien.
for a movie like Avatar, is that they can have something that's not a real thing. Like what's really challenging is when you do a CGI of a real thing, like a wolf,
absolutely.
or like Game of Thrones does it with wolves.
Yeah.
And they have to be real careful how they shoot it. Or like I Am Legend with Will Smith, they did it with lions and it was kind of clunky.
Oh yeah. No.
But with the zombies in I Am Legend, it worked perfect because they're this thing that's not a real thing.
Yeah, it's just like it's a fantasy creature.
Yeah, you don't have a point of reference. What is this, Jamie?
This is from Logan that they digitally did his face in like almost all these action scenes because I don't know whether he didn't do it or not, but this little piece just came out. I don't know if it just came out this week. I just saw it the other day. It's a really cool little 3-minute piece about the digital double is what it's called of Logan. If somebody wants to watch that, I'll try to put up.
Oh, is that the stunt guy?
Yeah, this is the stunt guy, and then they kind of show the breakdown. That was the actual clip, and they'll show you the breakdown now of how they like added each little piece to it to make what you saw from all the little camera angles, and then each little.
This is incredible.
It's really cool.
Oh, that's so
amazing. So the dude just got a
God, that's insane.
And they mapped his face on it. And then this thing later here in a second will show you how all the cameras that they used to get his actual face.
So this was CGI?
Yeah.
What?
That scene.
That whole scene was CGI.
I didn't question it
Most
at
of
all.
these scenes were CGI.
I did not question any of that shit, man.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Look at that.
But you know what's fucked up? Even though it's CGI, they still made it as obvious as a real fight scene with actors and a stuntman.
Yeah,
where it doesn't
the
look,
movement is real.
But it looks very obvious that it's fake, is what I'm saying.
Oh, now it does?
Yeah, to me.
But in the movie, I didn't think anything.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, it looks very obvious that it's a fake fight. Meaning
it looks choreographed.
Yeah, because you can't actually have the guy punch the guy. You can't actually have the guy shoot him first, and he absorbs the bullet and keeps going and cuts the guy's head off with his claws. But they could have done something along those lines. They choreographed it like they would choreograph like a fight scene in a $6 Million Man episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm gonna punch you. Oh, you stabbed me first. Oh, I'm gonna shoot you. Oh, you cut me first.
Right. Well, that's my thing with like tactical scenes and fight scenes. For me, it's like it can be. You just have to balance the believability level. So if it's kind of cartoony acts like violence or whatever, then make sure that the physics flow together really well. Yeah. Like Captain America: Winter Soldier, one of my favorite of the Marvel movies. Just the fight scenes were incredible. They're really, really well done. And
pretty badass.
It's pretty bad. Like when fucking Winter Soldier gets hit and he like slides backwards. There's always that thing where a guy gets hit and he slides backwards and the pavement gets torn up and he's like holding his stance. But the physics on it looked really good.
Yeah.
Like when I saw, I was like, oh, that's great. And they were just paying attention to all these like little subtle physics details. And that's what makes me appreciate the fighting. Or like seeing Gina Carano fight, like fake fight in movies. She knows how to take a hit.
Right.
So when she gets hit, she knows what it looks like when you get hit.
Right.
But a certain way or a certain angle or whatever. And not saying that she's like the best, but just as an example of someone who actually does make contact or has had experience in that. The reactions are a little bit more believable. And also they're probably more willing to let people get closer.
I'm sure. And also you don't feel like you're being treated like a fool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Because otherwise it's just like you see the people waiting for the next hit. Like when you see those fight scenes where people are standing around in a circle and one guy goes in and everyone else is waiting. Yeah. That would not work like that, man.
No.
It's like, no, everybody's just going to wait. Well, that's the rules. It's just one guy at a time. Okay, now now you try it, Tony. Ah, God, he's really good. Okay, Walter.
Yeah, it has to be that's one of the things that I found almost eerily impressive about John Wick. John Wick is preposterous yet believable at the same
balanced.
time.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They balance that shit. So
they figured it out.
Because you see it as choreography,
right?
But it's so fucking tactically and imaginatively thought out and stylistically gorgeous. All the ingredients go together, and you see in that footage of him, running 3-gun training or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's fucking rocking through those courses for real. He's using live rounds, and so when I see that movie, I'm like, oh shit, these guys know what the fuck they're doing. They're not fucking around. They're like using special forces guys for training. They're using a specialized team of martial artists to create a customized version of martial arts just for him.
My friend Higan Machado did a lot of the jiu-jitsu choreography for it.
That's who I was watching, yeah. And I love their whole fucking take on it and their approach. It's artistry.
Yes.
It's like, that's what it is.
There was no, everything that he did would work.
Yeah.
There was no jump up and kick 2 dudes in the head at the same time and shoot through a window and shoot a guy a mile away in the head.
Yeah.
None of that.
No. It's like, if you trained really well and that situation presented itself the way that it did, you could do that.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But it was also very cartoony too.
Totally, yeah. That's what that was so great about it. So it's like it's this perfect, because the whole world was heightened. You know, like the whole hotel thing and assassins having creeds and accords. So it's already in that world.
Yeah.
So you just need to create efficiency. All it is just like lethal efficiency with a kiss of artistry.
And there's a uniformity in John Wick's personality that is so samurai that you believe that he could do all this and not be affected by killing all these people.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like all the people he's killing are players.
Yeah.
They're all players in the game.
And they deserve it. They killed his dog.
Yeah,
right?
They killed his dog, and anybody who gets in the way, not that it's their fault, but if they decide to take him on, then he just has to, it's just professional.
Yeah,
He's
you're
a professional. Even in his revenge, he's professional. Well, except for the part where he shoots the dude in the hotel and gets excommunicated. But other than that, I mean, I just love that character so much. I love the stunt driving, and that's not CG. That's him as a 51-year-old man fucking destroying it. And I'm like, you know what? If anything, even if you like that type of stuff, or if you don't like that stuff, just watch a scene, look at the artistry of the choreography, think about how old he is and how hard he trained, and then try to have someone who's sitting on a couch going, I can't lose 30 pounds.
Right.
Without, I'm talking about someone who has no help. It's just them alone, just going, I can't do. It's like, man, anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just have to fucking do that shit.
Yeah, well, I think that movie is like, it's like a masterpiece of that genre.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of those John Woo style movies that are fun and everything like that. Well, I think what John Wick movies did is they took that, they boiled down the story to like there's no ambiguity as to whether or not there's bad people and good people, whether or not you should kill all these fucking people. He absolutely should kill them all, and he's absolutely going to, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's okay because it's a game.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about it. That's what's so brilliant about it. It's a game, but it allows stuntmen, tactical expert, forward movie making.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's mostly that. The story kind of takes you along in an interesting, but it's a pretty narrow pathway.
And it's like the apocalypse now of like shoot 'em up.
Of tactical thrillers or tactical whatever you call them.
Whatever you would call those. It's like the masterpiece of those.
If you get a chance, check out this guy. Have you ever seen Strike Back?
No.
That's a Cinemax show.
It's a show?
Yeah, it's a series.
I didn't even know Cinemax was real anymore.
I know.
There's too many networks.
I know. Like, Skinemax.
People start. I remember that back in the day. They would have those softcore B porn
You're
movies.
Like, holy shit!
You'd see a titty every now and then.
This is crazy.
They would lie down on the bed, and the lady's leg, her naked leg, would drape around the man's body, so you knew what was going on. You're like, I can't believe this.
I know.
But then the physics would trick you up. You're like, okay, the way they're lying, his dick is nowhere near her.
Doesn't look right.
How's he having sex with her? He's having sex with the cushion in front of her vagina. There's no way. He's reaching her actual vagina. He's way too low. What is he doing?
Totally.
It's like the man was in the wrong spot.
That's so crazy.
And he's like, and she's like, you're doing it wrong.
And the ADR is off. Just like,
the ADR.
Yeah. How does that feel good?
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Like just obviously someone in a studio adding sound later.
There was whole genres about those. There was series of movies. Emmanuel. Do you remember those? Emmanuel goes to Paris. Emmanuel goes to Italy. They were all like
Danielle Steele porn.
No, because Danielle Steele it would be more for the ladies.
Oh, so
Emmanuel was like
you're
for
right.
the men.
You're right. I got you. Yep.
Right? Like she was like this exotic traveling lady who would fuck these dudes in hotels in these movies, and they were just so corny.
Oh, that's right.
But you would be so excited. Like,
but it was softcore?
Yeah, when I was like 16 and
Amazing.
shit. We first got cable. Like, my parents were asleep. They were asleep up there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
You tune into Showtime or Cinemax
totally.
and watch these Emmanuel 4, Emmanuel 3. Like,
That's
there's a
right.
series
I
of
do
those.
remember those. Oh my god. Yeah, I was into that shit. Holy shit.
Everybody was. When you're a little kid, you're like, I'm going to see some titty. I can't believe I'm going to see a naked lady.
And like some more shit. Yeah, you're like, I'm about to see some real adult stuff.
Real
I'm gonna
shit.
See this lady.
As long as you don't see genitals. We do not tolerate genitals.
Yeah.
You
I
can see
mean, except for
tits.
breasts. Yeah, breasts are okay.
Yeah, but that's not a genital.
Yeah,
'Cause
you're
a
right.
man
It's
can
not
have one
genital.
and just walk around in public, like Ari Shaffir does.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like who's Ari Shaffir? Like
You don't know Ari Shaffir, stand-up comedian, good friend of mine. Thinks he's more famous than he is, obviously.
What is this? Oh, is this Emmanuel?
Oh,
the Cobra?
she's so hot. Emmanuel,
Oh
too.
no, she was hot.
She's
Wow,
getting
she's
acupuncture.
beautiful.
Oh, she's getting acupuncture to be more hot. Oh, Jesus.
She's really beautiful.
She's undeniable.
Like that 80s beauty.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's
I
a
love that
pool guy.
severe 80s beauty. It's just
She's
great.
gonna fuck the pool guy? Please fuck the pool guy. Why does she have a cobra in the lower left corner?
Because
of the
it's
screen?
probably someone's like channel that they're reposting.
Oh. Dude, I remember
What
these
is
movies.
that? What is that?
She's looking out the window. Maybe there's some dick in that building.
That's so crazy. Maybe I should go to that building. This building's tired.
She's like pretending to be a geisha. Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, totally. No,
You get-
that's
oh,
her.
it's
No,
actual-
that is someone
actual
performing
geisha.
a ritualistic dance of some sort.
Look at that guy. I had to try to figure out what was going on there.
That's-
She's mounting him and kissing his face.
That's crazy.
Oh, see how they're having
Oh, there
sex?
we go. Yeah.
There was that brief moment. Look, they're nowhere near each other's vagina.
Yeah, it's just like the idea. It's like theater sex. It's like,
Well, it was the beginnings
yeah.
of figuring out the loophole between pornography
Yeah.
and romantic movies with it's essentially it has
Pushing the
almost no
limits.
plot. They could write the plot
No.
we're just gonna get to Paris, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
This is what I want you to do. Look out the window, where's Bob? Fucking Bob, get over here, I'm horny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Bob shows up in a yacht.
Yeah,
Okay?
and enough
What?
story to make it look like, oh, is this a TV show?
Yeah.
Because it's a TV show.
Bob gets off the boat. I can't believe you're here. I didn't know you were coming. Yes, let's go get a drink. And then they go into the next room. Next thing it's still, they start making out. I missed you so much. I missed you too. I've made some mistakes. I'm so sorry. Next thing you know.
It's like, oh, I can't do this. It's like, well, why not? Just one night. It's just one night.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. They smoke cigarettes in bed together.
Yeah.
Back then, everybody smoked.
I never really got that. But the
I
cigarette,
guess it's like
cigarette after sex, I don't get it.
Post-fuck thing
I
for
just
people
don't.
who like to smoke.
Yeah. Oh,
You don't get it because you don't like to smoke,
I don't like
right?
to smoke. No,
Have
I
you
don't
ever
like it.
smoked?
No.
Good for you.
No. My parents did.
Stupid hobby.
I know. It's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I get it. My mom quit cold turkey though.
Oh, yeah?
Like 13 years ago.
Good for her.
She's
Ooh,
80 now.
Jesus. She okay?
Yeah.
How long she smoked for?
She smoked probably since her late teens.
See, that's what every long-term smoker, they hear that story, they go, as long as I just know when to jump off this ride, I'm going to be okay. Remember those Bugs Bunny movies where a plane was about to crash, and right before the plane hit the ground, Bugs Bunny would just hop off?
Yes.
And the plane would crash, and he'd be like, fine.
Yeah, I love that. That's what it is.
That's what your mom did.
That's what it
She was
is.
like, whoop, I'm okay.
Yeah,
And
so-
I'm 80.
She's like,
All right.
I'm done. Well, that was fun. That was it.
You mean, know how many people die of cancer, from lung cancer, way quicker than that?
Oh yeah, my dad. That's what my dad died from. Well, he had heart trouble first, and then he had a bunch of heart surgeries because he was had a high salt. He wasn't overweight. He was thin, so it's one of those thin fat type of
Oh, wow.
situations. So
Did he
just had
have just a genetic issue?
I don't know what it was. It was just some kind of build up because he was a smoker. He was a heavy smoker. He ate kind of heavy food, salty, whatever. And it just added up, and then he got heart problems, then emphysema, then the emphysema turned to lung cancer in the end. And then my mom, last year, she discovered she only had 18% functionality, or no, 13% functionality of her heart. And I just happened to be in Montana at the time because I don't have brothers or sisters, and I just happened to be there with a friend of mine for Christmas, and it happened the day after Christmas. So she was like, I really don't feel well today. I took her to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, you've got barely any coronary functionality right now. And so then they put in two stents, but a third of her heart is not functioning. One of the aorta just doesn't work anymore.
Whoa.
Pretty heavy, but a lot of it is from just like high fat, high salt, smoking.
Yeah,
lifestyle.
The thing is, people used to think it was high fat. Did you read that thing in the New York Times about where that all came from? The reason why people think saturated fat is bad for you?
Yeah, well, I know that certain amounts of fats and certain fats are awesome for you, and some are terrible.
See, it all came from the New York Times. It all came from the sugar industry. The sugar industry bribed all these scientists, and they didn't even have to pay them much, man. Apparently, it was only like $50,000. They bribed these scientists to study, report some bogus findings, pushing the blame away from sugar and onto saturated fat.
Oh,
This
I did
is
hear
all
something
by the
about
sugar
that.
industry.
Yeah.
To this day, people think saturated fat is bad for you. There's something that I tweeted earlier today that I was reading about saturated fat being able to even cholesterol. Cholesterol is the precursor. It's like what you need. It's a substrate for hormones.
Sure. No, absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, there's so much of it. There's so much
but dietary
fat.
cholesterol is not even it, man. Dietary cholesterol apparently doesn't even move your blood lipids. A lot of it's genetic. It has to do with whether or not you have high cholesterol. It has to do with your lifestyle, if you're sedentary, whether or not you're eating a lot of sugar and carbs.
Well,
this is something that I posted earlier today. When people eat saturated fat, the risk of stroke drops. If they're also avoiding refined carbohydrates, their triglycerides also come down. So what they're saying is that when people eat saturated fat in conjunction with eating a lot of refined carbohydrates like white flour and sugar, it's not good for you at all. So that saturated fat is bad is the wrong culprit. Like, saturated fat might be bad for you if you had refined carbohydrates because you're just fucking your whole system up. But if you can remove the refined carbohydrates, saturated fat consumers have a lower risk of stroke, and their triglycerides come down too. You actually get healthier by eating saturated fat without carbohydrates.
That totally makes sense.
It does make sense, but this is all new shit, man.
The way they separated it, it looks like they just kind of finally went like, it's kind of true. It's only true in combination.
Right. It's only true in combination, but you extract the one that we know to be bad, because there's many studies right now showing that low carbohydrate diets are beneficial for a bunch of different health benefits.
Yeah.
So when you take out these refined carbohydrates, it turns out the saturated fat is good for you.
Haven't we known, though, for a while, carbs, like refined carbs, are not good. I mean, I look at it like
but we didn't know how bad they were.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're realizing now more how bad they are and how important saturated fat and unsaturated fats are. And there's a lot of saturated fats, even for plant-based folks. You get a certain percentage of it from avocados. I think you can get a little bit of it from coconut oil, certain percentage of it from coconut oil.
I guess they're saying coconut oil is
That's bullshit. That thing was widely criticized by scientists.
Yeah,
that was the American Heart Association wrote that. And all these scientists got together and on it actually published an article about it where we sent essentially the American Heart Association is kind of whack.
Oh, wow.
Like their research is kind of shitty. Like,
oh, that's too bad.
They're behind the times.
Well, it makes sense.
You have to be the cutting edge of nutrition. This is why it's so confusing. It's constantly revolving around the latest science. So if you're not using the latest science, the cutting edge, you're not using the latest cutting edge nutrition. So if you're talking about some shit that they discovered in the 1970s, there's quite a bit of possibility that you might be wrong.
And it's tainted. Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. I mean, that's something that I tend to, I'm like fairly, my thing is like, I just try to eat like, what would a diabetic do? Like that's a good starting place. Yeah. And then the other thing is just like simplicity. For me, chicken breast, lean fish, snapper, brown rice, oatmeal, steamed broccoli, steamed kale, egg white protein.
But even egg whites are not nearly as healthy for you as egg yolks. Egg yolks are actually better for you. Egg yolks have more protein in them. There's all sorts of vitamins that you get in egg yolks that you don't get from the whites.
I guess I'm talking about the powder.
Not more protein, but a good percentage of the protein, I should say, and more cholesterol.
Yeah, the cholesterol is really the thing.
Yeah.
But for me, like J-Rob, egg white protein, that stuff is so fucking crack. It's great, and it mixes really well. I don't think they could put the yolk in there. Have
you ever used plant-based protein? Like pea protein's really good.
Pea protein,
hemp protein, if you get it from a good source.
Yeah, I've used all of those things. I guess egg white is like one of the most easily absorbed.
Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of simple.
Right.
What I like about it is that it's simple and it just comes from an unrefined ish, refined to get it to a powder.
Right, but that's what I would say. The issue is in the dehydration, rehydration process, it's so different than with hemp, where you're essentially just getting the plant fiber, grinding it down to a fine powder, and then you eat it.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to digest. It's almost like squeezed juice, except for it's a dried plant versus a dehydrated liquid product. You know, like egg yolks are kind of liquidy, right?
Yeah.
Egg whites.
Well, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I guess they are. They start that way, but if you cook them, or I mean, I guess you could have them raw.
Well, you can if you know the source.
Yeah, if you know the source.
People are apparently catching salmonella though from backyard chickens.
Oh yeah,
apparently that is an issue now.
So there's some farm. Oh yeah, right. And there's like that huge movement. Like a urban movement.
So people who do
they're closer together.
Be careful if you don't know what's going on. Don't eat it raw. Just because you got it in your backyard does not necessarily mean it's 100% safe to eat raw.
I made this. Yeah. No, my thing is like I just eat pretty simply.
Do you eat fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of you like fatty fish like salmon? Supposed to be the best for you.
I do like salmon. I like coho salmon, which is really good if you can. And then I like hamachi. Hamachi is just an amazing mackerel. I really dig.
Mackerel's great.
Snapper is really nice for like just like a nice lean piece of fish. Like if I just want a basic.
Do you ever go fishing?
I used to in Montana. I grew up in Montana. I used to
fly fish.
No, not fly fish. Just like boat fish.
Oh,
or
yeah.
dock fish.
Montana's amazing. Where were you at? Like a lake in Montana?
Yeah. I forget the. Oh, we went to Rainbow Lake, I think. Rainbow Lake. And then Flathead sometimes.
We went to Bozeman last summer, my family, and we went whitewater rafting down to Gallatin. It's amazing, dude. You get soaked, though. If you're in the shade, you're going to freeze your dick off. Because that water's cold. That water's glacial runoff,
It's like one of the few times I noticed between a shadow and not shadow.
Yeah, if you're in the sun, you're like, it's perfect. I'll dry off. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if you're in the cold, in the shade, you're fucking freezing.
You're so fucked.
That water's cold, man.
You're so fucked. And you just like take one step into the sunlight and you're like, thank you. It's like breathing.
That Gallatin's weird because there's a lot of people that fly fish in that Gallatin River, but almost everybody releases the fish that they catch.
Oh, yeah. I got you. Yeah, it's more like the sportsman take on it rather than the eating.
You're just tricking this fish and sticking a hook in its head, and then you're pulling it to shore and then letting it go. Like, how many times, if this is like a stream where a lot of people on this river, if a lot of people fly fish, what are the odds that a fish gets caught and released like several times in its life?
Man, that would be something to ask.
What a fucked up life. Again? Like you're getting hooked. Jesus, again.
Or maybe like, you know what? I don't mind it because I'm still alive. I don't know. I don't like the trauma.
I think it would suck.
Yeah.
I don't think that they have nerve endings in their mouth the way I think it's more like a lot of the tissue in their mouth other than their throat is like almost like a fingernail. I think it's the way it's described.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was the thing. It's like I love fish, but I'm a little bit of a pussy about killing, and so I have to kind of like get into a mindset, to do it. I mean, I could do it. If I need to survive, I need to catch. Of course, I'm going to eat. I don't have a problem with that.
What about an ugly fish like a flounder?
It doesn't matter. It's just doesn't matter. I was the kid trying to not step on ants going to school.
Right.
I was just like very much. Even though I do eat meat, although I will say I'm really stoked about Memphis meats.
Memphis Meats.
Yeah, Memphis Meats. They're out of San Francisco. They're growing steaks and growing chicken.
Now, is that actual steak and actual chicken, or is it a vegan alternative?
From the cells of the animals.
Christ, you're going to get zombie-itis.
Yeah, I mean, something.
Bro.
So it's going to happen. But I do think that it's an interesting thing because like I was vegan for like 7 years and now I'm not.
Do you get people mad at you because of that?
I've gotten some people like, I thought you were vegetarian, or I thought you were vegan.
I thought you were open-minded, man.
Yeah, I thought you could. But the thing is, like, I do care, and I'm pretty particular about the sources of my protein. Very particular, but I am excited about this idea of because it poses an interesting question to someone who's choosing to be vegan for ethical reasons or health reasons or both. If meat was able to be grown, like. Saying that you liked meat before you became one. You like, I like the flavor, but I don't like the ethical.
For ethical reasons, makes sense. For health reasons,
totally.
I would feel like it's probably just as bad for you or worse.
Unless you feel bad when you eat certain things, not like emotionally, but if you just like have a reaction to meat. Some people do have that. Well, that's fine.
The people that do, that's a real common thing recently. You know about that Lone Star tick disease?
No.
People getting allergic to meat. There's some.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, something that is in the bite of the tick. Something called, they call it alpha gal for short. And when you get this, you develop this allergy to this stuff that exists in red meat. And so when people get bitten by this one particular tick, they literally develop an allergy to red meat. And it can subside over time. But for a lot of people, they stick to chicken and fish afterwards. They literally become allergic to eating meat.
So they become healthier by
Not necessarily. See, that's where the whole saturated fat argument comes into play.
Oh, sure. I guess it depends on the diet.
There's all this confusion about whether or not red meat is bad for you, because a lot of these studies that show that there's a direct correlation between red meat and heart attacks, what they don't do is differentiate what kind of red meat. They don't make a differentiation between red meat that's grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle that's very healthy, or bison. Versus a fast food burger with a white bread bun and French fries and a soda with all sorts of sugar in it. See, because of the fact that people eat red meat on a daily basis, they don't take into consideration what they eat that red meat with. And there's a giant difference between eating a piece of grass-fed meat with vegetables and and a glass of water, maybe a yam, versus eating a fucking Carl's Jr. double cheeseburger with fake bacon and just dripping with funk and sugary corn syrupy
sugar sauces.
Yeah, I mean you can't make but people do. And so the correlation between it's not a good these are not good tests, because the correlation between red meat and cancer, you could say maybe, but not the way you guys showed it. The way you guys showed it is just eating red meat with a bunch of other shit versus eating red meat and living a healthy life and eating with vegetables and having what you would call a balanced diet. You can't say that it's all the same, because it's just not.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, for me, the red meat is I'll just feel better if I'm not eating it all the time.
Right.
And I just prefer chicken or whatever.
Dude, a lot of people have different reactions to all kinds of things.
Sure.
I mean, I know several people that have celiacs where they literally can't consume any bread. I know a bunch of people that have that. And for those people, their body is obviously different than mine. Because mine,
totally.
I can eat. If I eat bread, I don't feel as good. If I eat a big ass sub, like a fucking pastrami sub, it feels great while it's going down.
Sure.
But then afterwards,
but then you feel like shit. You feel like shit.
The crash.
Sometimes it's hard to remember that because you're like, well, I just want the thing.
The difference between an In-N-Out double with a bun versus protein style with the lettuce, it's an infinitely different thing.
I completely agree. I mean, for me, it's like filet mignon or something like that. It's really nice because it's like a very lean cut. But
blue cheese on the top.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if I can go there. I like
crumbled blue cheese and filet mignon.
Yeah, you? No? Okay.
Medium rare. Jamie's too white bread. He's from Ohio. They don't even know what blue cheese is over there.
Turn it into a cheeseburger. Just leave that shit
They have ranch. No, bro. A little blue cheese with a little crumbled blue cheese with some fucking... Look at you.
Peppercorn.
I'll tell you, here's the problem. Honestly, also, filet mignon is a boring cut. Like a ribeye is the cut, right?
Well, sure,
you get a lot
got
of
the fat. Sure.
It's just cooked in there, and you get a fucking nice dark surface on the outside, and you slice in, it's red in the middle, and you get a hunk of fat in your mouth.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's so much better tasting than filet mignon. So I would not have blue cheese with a ribeye.
I will say that at Pacific Dining Car, I don't know what they do, but they make the most perfect filet mignon. There's nothing on it. It's just the steak, but it is the most flavor complex piece of meat I've ever.
Do you go to the downtown one or the one that's
the downtown one?
See, the downtown one is 24 hours a day, isn't it?
Yeah.
How the fuck is that possible? So I can get a steak at Pacific Dining Car downtown LA at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You could.
I need to go.
Yeah.
We need to have a post-show Pacific Dining Car dinner.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
After the store.
Yeah. Oh,
because we're always going to these bullshit places to eat.
Yeah, that place rocks, and I just it's got that heritage server vibe to it. It's really cool. I dig that, man.
Have you gone to the one in Santa Monica?
I have not. No.
It's excellent.
Is it?
They're both excellent.
Okay, I'll check it.
Super old school steakhouse.
There's something about that I like when they have a relationship with the cattle farmer or whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say I am excited about a grown steak.
Right. You're excited about something where something doesn't have to die. Ethically, completely clean.
If it tastes as good as the original, and you're just like, no, I love both of these, then you would obviously, I would choose the one that was just
100%.
Yeah, I mean, just because just an efficiency. I mean, get rid of the empathy, the emotional thing, but like even just for efficiency's sake. Like,
how about the saving the environment from methane?
Yeah.
The amount of methane that
Totally.
The problem is we don't need cows anymore. We'll have to start murking those cows.
I know.
Because they're just going to fuck and just grow. They're going to be like deer.
Oh, yeah.
A dude online sent me a photo from his house in Long Island. And he was saying that Long Island is just infested with deer and that they're literally going in and giving these deer operations. And they're
what?
Yeah, they're trying to remove their ovaries. They're giving them birth control pills. They're trying all these different ways.
Oh my gosh.
They have all these different proposals, and even some places they hire snipers.
Tough.
They're trying to figure out what to do because there's no predators, and there's just a fucking astounding number of deer.
That's it's just human civilization. Like it's a domino effect. We keep like fucking
sort of, but the real issue is there's no predators. I mean, if they really want to get bold, if they released a bunch of wolves over there, they take care of that.
I agree, but that was a human decision. You know what I'm saying? Like because those ecosystems work perfectly, and then we come in and we're like, I don't like those trees over there, and a bird goes away, and then like that bird was responsible for this thing, and that blah 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 blah, and then
I don't like wolves eating my kids.
I hate wolves. I don't like the way they have sharp teeth. I don't like it one bit, and they don't look very, very friendly. So whatever the reason, but so that's kind of what you get.
You
like,
monkey with a perfect system.
Yeah.
But once you monkey with that perfect system, once you monkeyed it out, you're responsible. There's fucking deer everywhere.
Yeah, you got to keep it running.
Where we going?
I know. You got to keep it running, man.
For people who live around there, it's a huge pain in the ass because they crash into those things all the time.
I know.
And you could die.
Oh, I've had friends, run into meese and
moose.
Deer. Yeah.
Moose is the scariest one. That's like running into a tree.
It's like stories of like some guy who had a pickup truck, was going like, I don't know, 45, something like that, 50, hit a moose, and the moose just walked into the forest after
probably
the
broke a lot of shit, but they
it
can
probably
walk
broke
away.
some shit, but it walked away. It'll probably hopefully heal. Who knows?
Did you see the video on YouTube very recently of a guy hitting a moose on a highway in Canada, and it launches it into the air? I mean, launches it. Like the moose just steps out into the road and boom, this guy hits it with his car, and the people that are filming it are like, holy shit!
Yeah.
And this moose is just flying through the air.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean fucking flying, like 20, 30 feet through the air.
What happened to it? Did it die?
I don't
Must
know.
Have died.
I don't know. It's just a quick video.
That is...
It might not have, man. I mean... It might have, but they're so tough. Here it is, right here.
Meese are tough.
See this guy's driving? Boom!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not alive.
That looked like a deer more than a moose. The other one that I saw, honestly, Jamie, was different. Maybe it's the same video from a different angle.
Oh, that's a moose.
That's it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's dead. He's just lying. He gets scared and he's playing dead. Because he doesn't want anybody. It's definitely dead.
That sucks.
Definitely dead. And that car is jack-maffied. That's probably totaled.
Ugh.
Caved in, bent frame.
That's just sucks so bad. Well, there are some places like in Idaho, Montana, where they have those underpasses or those overpasses, which is pretty great.
To help the animals cross.
Yeah, the nature highways. I think that's so. I mean, there's like so many things we could do. Obviously, it's resource intensive, and whether people agree with it or not, but we could totally be in harmony with things. It's
we
amazing.
Need money for guns. We don't have time for that.
You're right. Yeah.
They're doing that on
6 hour.
There's a project to do that on the 101 for mountain lions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do that.
Apparently, the genetic diversity of the mountain lions is threatened by the 101 because there's mountain lions on the ocean side, and they're like breeding too much with the mountain lions over there.
Oh,
and
interbreeding.
It's too hard for them to get across the 101 to find all the mountain lions on this side that are up, as you go deep into like Simi Valley and those areas. So apparently they're trying to figure out some way to mitigate that, and one of the best ideas is this really wide strip of land, so these things feel comfortable, and they're gonna like pave it. I mean, they're gonna like put dirt there and make it.
I've seen those. They look great too.
But it's a shitload of money.
Yeah, but you know what? They need to do that shit. I mean, it's like we have enough shit. Humans already like even some of us. I mean, minus mental problems. mental issues. It's like we have so much. It's just it's crazy. Even when I was like, I mean, I was never like destitute, but I was definitely very, very poor and wasn't sure if I would make rent or had to borrow a lot of money for a few years and things like that. But there, you just realize how much you have. Like, I mean, in comparison, in comparison, like I can always find water. I could always find water, and if I was social enough, I could definitely gain the trust of people to be able to let me crash for a while on a couch. So there was always a way to survive, even if there are little things. So the reason why I bring that up is just because, like, nature, it's kind of our job to be stewards of nature. We should be better at it.
It certainly is in a lot of ways. We certainly should be responsible. That's why it should be so much more of a big deal when something like some sort of a company pollutes a bay or an ocean. Like it is such a giant deal. You can't gloss over it with a cleanup. Like what you've done is like that whole thing that happened with BP and the oil spill in the Gulf. Like they devastated an entire ecosystem. I mean, all the people that relied on that area for fishing, all that people, and then the people that lived nearby, and then the people that had to clean it. Apparently, the people that had to clean it, like, they're all getting cancer. No bueno. You got to clean up gasoline spill, oil spill all day. That should be good for you. Are you breathing that in?
Yeah.
Good. What do you got over your face? Like one of them fucking surgical masks?
3M mask.
One of them paper masks? That should be sufficient. Definitely is going to filter out all the toxins that are going to get into your DNA.
So terrible, man. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Much of Deepwater Horizon oil spill has disappeared because of bacteria.
Oh, that's good.
Oil-eating microbes. Look at this.
Didn't they poured that on there, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was like one of the things.
That's some new shit they're going to use actually for plastic as well.
Yeah.
Chemicals used to disperse it are kept underwater, making it more available to the microbes that live in the deeper portions of the ocean. What's up with all those Facebook things like right in front of it? Just like an issue with the website?
It's called shitty
coding,
programming,
CNBC.
coding,
You fucks, you CNBC. That's amazing. I just love when someone super smart figures out a giant issue we have
with something simple.
Yeah.
You know
microbes. Microbes can eat oil.
Or fungus. Fungus is great. Fungus gets rid of oil.
But meanwhile, those microbes are going to get eaten by fish, and those fish are going to become huge, and they're going to start thinking through, and they go, I'm tired of these motherfuckers coming in and killing us. We got to go out there and kill them.
I hope so.
You want fish to kill people?
I mean, if they tried to really fuck with us, I think that'd be good. If there's like a new...
We would go to war with the fish, and we'd feel good about eating them, maybe? Yeah. What is this? Bacteria are evolving to eat plastic we dump into the ocean. Whoa. Yeah. They're evolving to do it. Without us doing it? That's not insane. Good. We're going to make an alien, man, like the movie Alien. Like the Geiger alien.
Yeah. You mean the xenomorph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see... I posted this thing on Instagram a couple days ago that I saw from Nature is Metal, the Instagram account, and it's a cuttlefish. Have you ever seen how a cuttlefish jacks other fish?
No. Okay.
Dude,
does he spear
it? Watch this. It doesn't even seem real. Look at that. Yo, tell me that's not like some Avatar
like a frog.
shit.
It's like an underwater frog.
But the way it opens up like a flower and pulls this thing into it, I mean, this is incredible. Look, it stabs it and then shoom.
It's so cool. It's such a great system because it's like it keeps it closed to stay in camouflage.
Yeah.
And then it only opens it last second, and probably maybe the color mesmerizes.
Well, it's not just that. Forward. The sea anemones, it literally takes on the shape and texture of the sea anemones.
That's amazing.
The amount of camouflage it has is insane. Yeah. There's somehow or another, I guess, related to octopus. Which many of the octopus can do the same thing.
Yeah. The camouflage thing is insane. I mean, nature is like way more advanced than we'll ever. We are nature, but it's just like from our point of view, looking at nature, which is just like an evolution of, it's molecular evolution.
Meanwhile, the octopus is like, what the fuck are you complaining about, dude? You have a phone, okay? You can fly in a plane.
Yeah, totally.
You're bitching that you can't turn into, like, you look like a coral reef?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. Is that a cuttlefish right there pretending to be a coral reef?
No.
It's a micro crab.
Feeding it a crab.
What are they feeding?
A crab. This is a cuttlefish. Crab.
Oh, whoa. Look at that fucker.
That's so amazing.
Ooh, what a weird looking freaky alien creature.
It's great. And I love its propulsion system. It's great. It just undulates on the side. It's so cool. It's just, I love it. I also really love spiders. I think spiders are just
the king of camouflage. Play that video.
Oh, yeah,
King of camouflage, the cuttlefish.
And
I've
they are
seen
kind
that
of
video.
cuddly looking. They do have like a little smile to them and these cute
I
eyes.
don't think they mean the same kind of cuddle. I think it's cuddle with a CT.
No. That's what they meant. That's what they meant.
Look at how it just becomes like whatever it's near. Like when it sits down on stuff.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Look at it. It looks like other fish. Oh, that's a octopus.
Yeah.
Like look at this octopus as it's on the ground.
It's an encephalopod.
These things are just.
That
They've adapted
is so cool.
a way to fake it. I mean, it's just
that-
so alien to us. And that's the thing about like.
Oh my god, look at
I
that
know.
shit.
Crazy. Instantaneous. Look at how it looks like the bottom of that thing that it's in.
Looks more like Cthulhu than octopuses. do.
Right.
Face.
Well, you know, it's like you were talking about before about the idea of aliens visiting us. Like, why would we think that they would look like us at all?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, they could just be spheres of energy,
Sure,
that just
exactly.
appear and they're just like, "Hey guys, what's up?" It's
Why
like,
do they have to have a language even? Why
Oh, yeah,
can't
no.
they just convey intent?
Well, that's why I liked. What was that movie that came out recently? The Alien.
Oh
movie.
yeah. The one the memory one, which
Yeah.
I wrote off at first.
Yeah.
Then I went back and watched it and liked
It's
it.
pretty fucking.
What was it
great.
called again?
Blanking because I didn't like it. I don't remember.
With Jeremy Renner, that guy.
Yeah, Septipods.
The Arrival?
They would call it? Arrival. Yeah,
Yeah, Arrival.
I really liked that movie.
I liked it eventually.
Yeah.
I first saw it when the girl died. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're not gonna get me with this." And I
Yeah,
shut it
I
off.
know. Yeah, and then like, man, that changed real quick.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was like, and they were something totally different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the way I feel. It's like, why would we assume that everything would be physical when we have things like Wi-Fi? We have like literally all of the world's data coming to you on your phone
Yeah.
from space with zero connection. You take that thing, spin that phone around. There's nothing physical connecting it. So
Yep.
why wouldn't we assume that information would
Oh, yeah.
travel from alien to alien like that? Like
Yeah.
why do they need a language?
Yeah,
why
yeah,
do
yeah.
they need to be able to touch things and see things and feel things?
Yeah, agreed.
They might be information.
Yeah,
Information might be an alien.
They that's why like when people talk about doing DMT or or even ketamine, like the kind of dissociative intelligences that people are intelligences while being on dissociatives, like that they feel around them, like almost an insect like intelligence. That's why I think like everything is just pure consciousness. It's just everything is consciousness
Around you all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
It's entirely possible.
I mean, it's like that's what you are.
Yeah.
It's all we are. As far as we know, we're vibrating with weird particles.
We just don't have the senses to deal with whatever the fuck else is around. We have the senses to deal with all our biological needs,
Sure.
all of our imperatives, what we need to concentrate on in order to stay functional as a flesh bag.
Yeah. We're a division of consciousness.
Yes.
We're literally life forms. We're forms of life.
Well, your body literally is an avatar for consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the movie.
That's what I call the biomechanical consciousness transport system.
Ooh, that's a good name for it if you want to talk to chicks. Listen, what we're going to do is we're just going to get in the hot tub with our biological transport soul containment vehicles. Whatever. It's no big deal. It's a hot tub. It feels good.
And,
Look, I'll sit over here. You sit over there.
Some women would probably take that. They'd be like, "Yeah, that's cool."
Yeah,
man."
like hippie chicks.
And then you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah, girls with tattoos like right above their tits.
yeah."
They would go for that. They'd be like, "Yeah, I like what you're saying. I like how you made me feel good about my choices."
Yeah, I dig it. Thanks, man. I dig it. You want some of this joint? I go,
Especially
"What?"
if you have a hairdo like yours, man. You can pull that kind of talk off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Although that fat Jewish guy's made that haircut a little fucked up. That guy's kind of like tapped into it in a way it's
Yeah.
become an issue.
Strange man.
become an issue.
Strange man. Very strange.
Who is
man.
the Guy DeBoard on your shirt? Who's Guy DeBoard?
Oh, Guy Debord.
Guy. Oh, it's Guy.
Guy.
All of a sudden, I don't care anymore.
He started. Yeah, it's like fuck this. It's the guy who started the Situationists. They were kind of like a philosophical, artistic movement in the 50s. And
Oh, yeah?
He was French, and they got basically credited. It was kind of like Dadaism mixed with like some different like artistic techniques and some philosophy. But they would do these exercises to kind of shake their orientation. Like they loved disorientation, so they would drink a bunch of absinthe and walk around their town and act like a group of them would act like they were tourists in their own town, and they would navigate by looking up at the buildings as opposed to street level. So they would do things like that, or take tourist maps of other cities and superimpose them block for block on another city, or they did jokes weird kind of bits where one guy dressed as a bishop and actually led a sermon at Notre Dame, and
don't ever say it like that again. How dare you?
But they were They were like pranksters. They were kind of like dicks. Notre Dame. They were like pranksters, and they were credited. Malcolm McLaren was a situationist, and he partially created the Sex Pistols as living mannequins for his fashion.
Oh wow!
And so the punk movement is kind of associated with situationists because their whole mantra. I mean, it's a distillation, but it's provoke to the edge of violence.
Whoa! No, that's interesting. Was there ever a documentary on these guys?
There might be. I've never found one. I'm just there's the Society of the Spectacle, which is one of the books that he wrote, and there's two books that he wrote.
Guy Debord's The Society of the Spectacle.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Will Self takes a walk through the, how do you say that?
Where?
Banlieues of Paris.
I think it's Banlieue.
Banlieue
of Paris.
And is astonished by the prescience. Is that the right way to say that?
Yeah.
Prescience of Debord's 1967 masterpiece, which so accurately describes the shit we're in. Interesting.
Basically, yeah, Society of the Spectacle.
And more fucking issues with the Twitter thing showing up right there in the pictures. The fuck is with your browser, son?
I'm zooming in, it probably fucks with it.
You probably have ad blockers and all kinds of weird things going on.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
A lot of
Maybe
extensions.
you've been hacked, son. HACKD.
Yeah. Anyways, that's who he is.
That's amazing. I didn't know about that guy.
Yeah, when I first moved to New York, a friend of mine, a performance artist, took me to this experimental theater that was in a garage in Williamsburg, way back. It was still pretty shitty, seedy. And you walk into this garage, and they had this theater piece on Guy Debord, and it was amazing. Because they kind of explained what it was about and the journey and blah blah blah, but it was also done in a style that would have been situationist. So we were just on these boards that were on top of buckets for seats, for bleachers, and then they were passing around beers. So people were just drinking beers and watching this play, and it was amazing, and it really inspired me, where I was like, oh yeah, I like it. I like that pranking, hacking, social hacking. It's nice.
Provoke to the point of violence,
to the
just the edge of violence?
Yeah, just before violence
Sounds
occurs.
like an annoying neighbor.
Yeah, basically. But someone who's doing it on purpose, which is even more annoying.
Yeah, super annoying.
It's more than just he's an annoying person. It's oh no, this person's doing it on purpose. Like Andy Kaufman.
Right.
Situationist.
Yeah.
He wouldn't necessarily maybe have described himself as that, but he's a perfect example of that. Or Andy Warhol.
More Kaufman, right? Because Warhol was just creating art.
Well, yeah, but his whole con artist kind of vibe, whether he would have ascribed to it or not, but the fact that he was kind of conning a little bit, the Campbell's soup can thing was a little bit of a con.
A little bit, but people enjoyed looking at it, though.
They did, but it's kind of when I see it, I'm like, it's a little bit of a con. It's and the factory idea, is also a little bit of a con. It's a little bit of a hack. I mean, in a conscious, really intelligent, philosophical way.
Right.
It's not to say that he's really trying to fool people. It's not that. He's just this, and people are like, yes, I like it. And he's like, that's what I thought.
Right.
A little
It's
bit.
always weird when people push back against someone trying to push what they think is too far. They become these big cultural arguments as to what's art and what's not, especially when things are funded. Do you remember Piss Christ? Do you remember
No.
all that? You don't remember
What the fuck
that?
is that?
That was God damn it, what was his name? I was just starting out doing stand up, so it was the late 80s. God, what is his name? What was his name? Okay, it wasn't that one I was thinking of. That was one of them.
There was a piece.
There was
about
another
it,
guy. There was another guy who was famous for that kind of shit. God damn it. Very controversial artist who did a lot of weird sexual and odd stuff. in like the late 80s, early 90s, and it became a huge issue because people were mad that like some of it was being funded and put up in museums that were state funded.
Oh, interesting.
God damn it, it's at the tip of my tongue. I can't remember this guy's name.
These are like pieces of art, like artworks.
Yeah. And Piss Christ was one of them. What Piss Christ was a jar of piss with a crucifix in it. And it was on display in a museum.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, and people were like, what in the fuck is this? and they and they called it Piss Christ. And people would travel from all over the world to go stare at Piss Christ.
I get it. What's the audacity, right?
Yeah.
Part of it is the audacity to just do something like that and just be like cool with it. I mean, that's my favorite art is like one of my favorite moments in kind of discovering that was when I was going to Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle. And I think it was every Tuesday or Thursday or maybe every Wednesday, one of the middle days, they would allow students to throw a concert in the theater, in the small Poncho Hall Theater, and you could just sign up for it, and you could do whatever you wanted. And one day, it was like all the kind of, I guess I would call them performance art, musician, conceptual musician badasses, like all on stage. And it was like Brent Arnold on cello, this guy Avon Kang on violin or viola, and guy on bass, just like 5 or 6 people on stage, all badasses. Tim Young, and I was in the theater, and there were like maybe 23 kids in a 60-seat theater, just like chilling, scattered throughout the seats. And they started playing, and everybody was playing through distortion pedals, and they just started playing these distortion drones, like all of them, and then eventually it just sounded it. You saw people doing things on stage, but all you could hear was. For like probably an hour, and I had earplugs in, and everybody cleared out. Like everybody cleared out, and I hung to the end, but I started head bobbing because like that's when I started realizing that static, whether you're seeing visual static or audio static, after a while you start to hallucinate and you start to hear music in static. Wow. So if you hear eventually when you defocus, it's like those magic eye puzzles where you're supposed to hold your thumb up and then all of a sudden, oh, I can see this 3-dimensional image. Same exact concept essentially. Wow. But your mind is creating the structure, the geometric structure, because it wants to find structure, and static is like raw energy. So
sort of like Jodie Foster in Contact when she would stare at the static trying to find patterns in it.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, similar thing. And so I started like I just couldn't stop like head banging essentially, but it was like really slow. And then afterwards they came up to me and they're like, "Oh, okay, you're one of those." And I just remember the bass player saying that to me, and I was like, "Ah, that's so cool."
Maybe
like he didn't have to explain anything at all. It's like I knew what he was saying. So for me, when I see duration pieces, things that test people's patience, I love it. I love like seeing people like, I can't stand this, and you're just like, no, just wait, just hang in there. No, I can't stand it. Or it's pissing people off. I love it. It's like or not even pissing them off, just making them frustrated.
Right.
Like there's a certain amount of frustration that I think is fun to play with. At least when I'm doing comedy, a little bit of that is good. Just like little doses here and there.
Right.
Is kind of my thing. I like it. It's a good feeling. But
test to see if people are willing to relax.
Yeah, totally. You're just like, I'm just fucking with you. Just keep that in mind when I'm doing something that seems kind of frustrating.
Right.
And if you can keep both those things in mind, you can relax and just go for the ride.
Right.
If you want. Or you could just be like, this fucking sucks and leave, which is fine too. I mean, it's not for everybody.
Nothing is, right? And it all depended upon like whether or not you're good at delivering the ride.
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah. As long as there's a reward, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's what you're doing, right? You're always playing off of something. That's what a joke is. It's like expectation, subvert the expectation. And there's so many there's a few different ways you can do that. So,
and there's going to be people that just have different styles that they enjoy. Like there's people that are Gabriel Iglesias fans, there's people that are Tig Notaro fans.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Right? And there's people that are fans of both. You know?
Totally. Yeah, totally. I know. I'm like one of those I'm like, I like anybody that's funny.
Yeah.
I like any music that's good.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah. Results may vary.
Yeah, results may vary, but like, if, it's just like, it's a sincerity. I mean, we all know as like comics, if we're watching other comics up there that we haven't seen before, you can tell pretty quick when it's coming from an honest place.
Yeah.
Even if it's like they're a little you can tell they're nervous and they're kind of playing a cool front. Like you can tell that the point of view is coming from an honest place.
Well, it's also, I think we lost that with DJs. There's not a lot of DJs.
Tough.
Like when I was a kid, I would remember DJs playing songs, and there was like sincere appreciation for the songs they were playing because they had picked this song. They really want you to dig this song, and you'd find a DJ that you really enjoyed his show. Like, oh, he's gonna be on from 3 to 7. This guy's the shit. He plays great music.
Yeah.
And you'd listen to him talk about the songs.
Yeah.
And there was like this authentic thing to it versus like a Jack FM station. We're like, here we go, Jack FM, all the hits, all the difference, all the time.
Yeah. 24/7.
Perfect fade right into the music.
Yeah. Like KCRW.
Yeah.
You get that with KCRW. So donate now to just kidding.
Fresh air with Terry Gross.
Hi, I'm Terry Gross. All things considered.
I used to listen to that all the time.
Public Radio International.
NPR. I used to listen to that all the time.
Corva Coleman.
That was my morning ritual.
Oh,
listening
totally.
to NPR. Back before there were podcasts. This is different than what other things you're hearing.
Yeah.
All things considered.
I love Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Ooh, all those are good.
It's a pretty fun time. It's pretty biting, actually, and it's lightning fast. I mean, the wit on there is just awesome.
Yeah, NPR's Radiolab is NPR, isn't it?
Radiolab, yep.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the best podcasts. Period.
Amazing.
That I've learned more
Audio
from
heavy.
Radiolab than I did from all my years of barely paying attention in school. Like for sure.
Yep.
I quote Radiolab more than I quote most books I've read.
Yeah. No, I agree. They're absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's just like a lot of cool shows on there that I'm like, and KCRW is dope because they play so much dope music. Like I discover like probably 80% of my music on there.
Really? What station is that?
KCRW, it's 93.3, is it? Or 89.9.
I haven't listened to a radio station in fucking years. Like
You
I
should
haven't
check it
turned on
out.
the radio in years.
It's cool. I just get the app and I stream it from my app, from my phone.
I listen to music when I work out, sometimes when I'm driving.
Yep.
Most of the time I'm listening to podcasts now.
Oh, 89.9.
89.9, City of License, Santa Monica, Public Broadcasting.
Yeah.
Owner, Santa Monica College. How weird.
Yeah, they're moving. They got a new location, but they're like one of the most influential radio stations in the country, I think.
That's the place where Henry Rollins has his weekly show, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Fanatic.
Yeah, and that's
hey guys,
him.
Fanatic.
So that's a good Rollins impression. Yeah.
It's great. I mean, you just get like this kind of more like 80s radio feel.
Right.
You get like these underground guys or, people with like these really warm voices. Like, that was a new one from Orbital coming out with a single that's definitely geared more towards the kids from the 1990s, if you remember that time period. This is a new one from, like that kind of shit where you're like, oh, yeah. It's like you feel like you're in a warm bath of like, oh, what else you got? This is a new one from Flantarf. And then it's just like this weird, angular, gross-sounding music. And you're like, how are you able to talk like that and play that track? That was great.
Well, I love the fact that people could just play whatever they want. Like, we need more of that. Like,
Totally.
we tried for a long time to do it the other way. It doesn't work.
No, algorithms. Fuck out. I mean, we've got Spotify now, and you got all that shit, which I don't really dig. But
you don't?
Not as much. I mean, sometimes I'll do a radio station on Apple Music.
Yeah.
But I like choosing. I listen to albums, so I listen to an album for a long time, and then I'll switch to another album, or I'll switch to like 3 songs off of a record. But I like choosing what I'm listening to. On occasion, I have discovered cool music by using the radio station. But really, for me, I'd rather just do KCRW because then there's a real human, going, hey, check this out.
Yeah, and it's a rare treat.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. I like keeping it a little bit more old school when it comes to music discovery and listening.
Well, just the fact that that this is rare now, you appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have to come back to it. I mean, the organic shit, that's why like anything I look at, like technology, it's like we're still kind of primitive. It's not organic enough. It's not an afterthought. We're not in afterthought mode. It's not like, technology should be like a light switch.
I went to a restaurant the other day, and all of their furniture was made with like metal pipes and like wood, like this table, and like that sort of crafty sort of feel to things where you're touching wood and there's brick on the wall.
Yeah.
Like that's like and the menu is written in a chalkboard.
Yeah, totally.
People want that shit now.
Oh, they like the personal touch. It reminds them of being human because we're so digital most of the time.
Yeah, if somebody gives you an iPad, the menu's on the iPad.
No,
you're like,
I don't
fuck
like it.
off.
No,
bring
don't
that
like it.
chalkboard over here.
Do not like
I
it.
see the specials on the chalkboard.
Yeah,
I want to swipe.
Oh no.
To go. Well, what kind of beer do you have? Swipe.
No,
Swipe.
it's gross.
Gross.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Gross.
That's why I think monitors, TV should only be in sports bars.
Yeah.
And then keep them out of all the other places. I'd love to just go. I'm not a drinker, but if I go to a bar with a friend, I love it when I go into a bar that's just a bar. It's just, and what I mean is there's no fucking television. It's off, maybe just in case for an emergency broadcast or something, because there are people gathered there, whatever. But I like it when it's like there's no fucking monitor. People are just chilling and having conversations with each other.
Right.
That's what a bar should be. Should
Like
be a break.
maybe you show Blade on every screen.
Oh yeah, sure.
Streaming 24/7.
But project it.
Ooh.
Project it on a
projector.
screen just to soften the light, because otherwise you get that screen glare, which is
Projector.
fucking asshole.
You're going super old school.
Well-
You drive a fucking horse?
Yeah, I do. I do drive a horse. That's the technical term for you drive one.
Well, we're gonna long for the days where engines were real. One day we're gonna be like, remember back when cars made noises and you could hear them coming?
Yeah, totally. I'll be like, oh yeah, remember when you used to drive them?
Yeah. Vroom, vroom.
That was my favorite scene in iRobot. He's like, I'm going manual. They're going like 300 miles per hour. And then the computer's
yeah.
the person in the passenger said, are you crazy switching to manual at these speeds? I love that.
Yeah, man.
It's like
one day that'll be a thing of the past.
the spherical wheels, though. I mean, come on, that was sick.
Yeah.
The car could rotate while it's still maintaining the same speed forward.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's
That's coming too,
four
right?
spheres. Yeah, they have them in factory floor robots or like forklifts now.
Oh, yeah?
I forget what they call that type of steering. But it's like crab. It's basically crab-like, so it can move forward, sideways, any way.
How many years do you think we have where it's still legal to drive your own car?
I think we have probably 10 years.
10 years. Sounds
Yeah.
good. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to creep in. We're going to realize how much safer it is. People, some assholes are going to fuck up with manual. They're going to crash into a school or something like that.
Yeah.
And then people are going to go, enough with the manual.
Yeah.
Enough.
I know, yeah. Or they'll do semi-manual. Like you can steer, you can drive within certain parameters, but if the computer senses you're going off the rails, it'll fucking guide the car back.
Well, that's why there's such a demand for really old cars that have like tactile feedback.
Yeah.
They're so expensive. Like if you buy a 1973 Porsche, which is only got like 150, 200 horsepower engine, if those things are in good shape, they're worth a fucklower of money now.
True.
Because you feel everything when you're driving that thing.
Yeah,
you
totally.
feel that every bump that you drive over, you feel there's no power steering at all, so you feel like every turn on the steering wheel.
Yeah. You feel the force against the wheel as opposed to an interpretation.
And when you turn hard, it's harder to turn.
Yeah, way harder. Yeah.
You feel it.
You gotta be present with it every moment.
Yes.
Whereas like if with like new power steering, you could kind of be absent-minded and be taking a pretty hard corner, which is easy to roll the car.
Well, difference in also the newest power steering, even opposed to the last generations. Now they do
by
power
wire.
steering that's electric.
Yeah, it's fly-by-wire.
You don't feel
Steer by wire.
anything.
Yeah.
Whereas the hydraulic gave you varying feedback depending on how much load was on.
Yeah, or rack and pinion.
Yeah.
I always loved rack. I thought that was the perfect happy medium.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
well, those really old cars were so light, like those old Porsches and old BMWs, like the BMW 2002. You remember those little tiny boxy things?
Yep, I love
They were
those.
so light, you didn't have to have like power steering. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what people are doing now is they're pulling the transmissions and engines and replacing them with electric. So you still have the road feel and the handling of it.
But you get the batteries.
But you get the batteries, so you don't get. I mean, it's not loud, but you get this great fusion of like. You've got the classic car look, but you've got the speed and the pickup. So you've got like this little tiny BMW 2002, and you're doing 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds.
I saw somebody did that with a 1965 Mustang. They took a 65 Mustang and turned it into an electric car, and it was like stupid fast.
It's a beast. I know the one you're talking about.
It's crazy. You're looking at this classic old school muscle car, and yet it has like a Tesla underbody.
Yeah, it's like an electric muscle car.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
I mean, Rimac. Do you know that? Car
No,
brand?
what's that?
Rimac or Rimac. They're I
How do you
think
spell
it's
that?
Estonian. RIMAC. They make this electric car. 4 electric motors, motor for each wheel.
Ooh.
It's got over 1,000 horsepower.
Jesus.
0 to 60 in 3.2, something like that. 3.1.
Jesus.
Maybe even faster than that. Or no. 2.
Whoa, look at that thing.
2.3.
That thing's insane looking.
Because my car does 2.3.
What car do you have?
Tesla P100D.
Damn, son. Look at this thing. This thing's beautiful. It looks like one of those
nasty.
Lexus coupes, those new Lexus coupes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Fuck,
see if
man,
you can get
that's
a...
amazing.
Yeah, see if they can have like a... Yeah, there you go.
Look at that thing's beautiful.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so it does, it definitely does vectoral steering and vectoral power distribution. So
those things are gorgeous.
It can corner like a motherfucker. And because the computer's monitoring traction all the time, to each wheel with an electric motor that has instantaneous torque, you're able to steer the car with acceleration.
Whoa.
So if you're coming around a corner, depending on the mode and the way that you're driving, you can actually push the car around the corner with the wheels using the input from the steering wheel. So you're directional steering, but also vectoral steering at the same time.
Whoa.
So that car is
Look how fast
disgusting. It's just leaving this Tesla behind.
Not just leaving it like it's parked.
Yeah, and this guy actually does some good shit once in a while. There's like some like young rich guys that are always doing car stuff, but I like that guy.
He's going to race a Ferrari? Oh, you know he's going to bury that Ferrari,
Oh,
right?
no, the Ferrari is history. Is
There's
that a LaFerrari?
Yeah, that's
It's
whatever
a Ferrari
that is.
LaFerrari. Yeah, it's a Ferrari LaFerrari, which
That's
is
why it
a
has those-
hybrid.
That's
But
why
I-
it has those
but
crazy...
The Rimac.
Yeah.
No, the Rimac's gonna win. I know it.
really?
I think so.
Let's see. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my God.
Off the line instantaneously.
Not even close.
Let's just see you later.
Oh
I mean,
my
it's
God.
linear power curve.
Right.
It's
Holy
an absolute
shit.
curve. It's a curve. It's just a perfect curve of absolute power.
That's insane. Now, where does one get one of these Remax?
And
How far can they drive?
I don't know what
100
the
yards.
range. Yeah, totally. It can go 200 feet per charge.
Find out how long those things drive for. Let's take a guess. I say they have 220 miles on them. What do you say?
I'm gonna say 180 miles, 200
Ooh.
miles to 200 miles.
Interesting. You went low ball. I thought you were going to go high ball on me.
Top end of 225 or something like that.
Like
which
what
for
is-
an electric car is a huge deal.
What's your Tesla get? What's the longest distance you could drive?
340,
That's pretty goddamn good.
something like that, or 3.
What did you think about when Tesla,
I have that wrong.
when they like had a bunch of people? What does it say? 2.82 kilowatt can give the
205
concept
miles.
of 205 miles.
Yeah,
That they don't specify
that's
the
conceptual
drive cycle.
driving.
The drive cycle, yeah. So if
Yeah,
you're
if
driving
you're-
like a maniac,
I'm gonna say 150.
yeah, maybe not even, right?
Yeah, 140.
What
I
did
mean,
you think about like during the hurricane in Florida? Tesla released a bunch of these cars that had they had restrictions
Mm-hmm.
on the amount of distance they could drive.
Oh,
Yeah, and so they did it remotely, and they gave these cars more of a distance.
oh yeah. They control speed, probably govern top speed.
No, I think they actually literally have a threshold of how far they like you could pay more when you buy them. So like if you buy one, you could have the option to have a 250-mile gas tank or a 350-mile gas tank.
Oh, they would just unlock the
It's just-
capability?
yeah, exactly.
Interesting. So the same kilowatt battery, size
Exactly.
kilowatt battery.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't like that.
It's weird, right?
I think as long as the battery system is modular, so that you can add or take away from it without like huge manufacturing costs of changing the shape of the battery, which which is what Tesla does. You can either like elongate the body of the car and then add more packs,
Yeah.
or you can shorten the body of the car, narrow it, less packs. But
Well,
I think
also
it should
you're
just be packs.
You're just fucking people over.
I just don't think
Because
it's
you
cool.
have the capability. It's just a software thing. It's
mean-
not going to cost any extra money.
Unless the idea, but it's so weird. It's like, well, then why not just make a competitive lease for the battery capacity that you want, or they're like,
But why-
buy
but
it
if-
for a small price now, and if you want to pay more later, we can unlock more battery
Here,
potential.
but here's the problem. Instead of like, say, if you buy an engine and
Mm-hmm.
it has 800 horsepower, and then there's another option. You could buy the V6 and that only has 350 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
Psych, we're kidding. The V6 has 800 horsepower. We're not going to let you use it because you're not paying us. That's what it is.
Sure.
It's because it's the same
That's weird.
exact battery pack.
Yeah,
right?
I don't like that. That I don't like. That doesn't make any
weird.
sense. I mean,
It's
unless
like they've crippled some of their cars, and the other ones they've given you an option to not cripple, but we want you to pay more.
Well,
but
you know,
you have the same exact hardware.
it's an in-app purchase.
Well, it is kind of, but it's
You know what I'm
it's way different because you're talking about like a physical. It's like almost if your phone,
Yeah.
like you have to pay more, and your phone has 250 gigabytes
Yeah.
versus 100.
Totally.
That's really what it is.
Well, yeah, but it's like also the same as like getting a video game, and you're like, I've got the video game, and they're like, would you like to unlock more content?
Yeah, but see, that's a journey you're on, right? Your video game is a portal to a journey. This is
Sure.
a physical device that has the capability to drive 350 miles. Like, nah, you can't have those 350. I'll give you 2.
Well,
I'll give you 200 miles.
Also, how many times? Like realistically, I'm only driving like maybe 30 miles a day.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
But I'm just saying,
What
like,
if you want to go across country?
If the idea was like you could in the future, well, see, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know if that's is that
Stupid.
a real thing?
It's a real thing. Stupid.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Gross.
It's like
well,
you
it
don't
makes
need to
sense
do
if you
that.
want to make money.
Well, I guess if you just want to like unify the manufacturing process so that you can create a higher yield or something like that.
Dude, you're looking at it like the man. You sound like the man to me. I'm looking at it as the
consumer.
Johnny blue collar consumer,
get
and I'm
it.
fucking pissed.
Hey, I am pissed at you. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I understand.
Yeah.
Reggie Watts. We're gonna wrap this pitch up.
Yeah,
Anything to say?
Let's wrap it out. This is awesome, man. I know
Great
people were
time,
talking
man.
a long time. They were like, "Oh, you should be on his show. You should be on his show."
Well, you know, you and I ran into each other the first time we ever met on a plane. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We were flying to London or something
yeah,
together.
yeah, that's
Just
crazy.
randomly.
That is
international plane. We were like one seat ahead of each other. We took
That's
selfies.
right. Yeah.
I put the selfie
That's
on Instagram.
right.
Remember that shit?
That's right.
That was a long time ago,
That
man.
was a long time ago,
I think
yeah.
it was you, me, and Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh my God. Wow, that was a while ago.
A long time ago.
Fuck.
I think we were on our way somewhere in Europe. I want to say. There,
London?
look at that. That's us.
Oh yeah. Where were we? Yeah, where were we on the way
It's
to?
from London to LA.
From
Oh,
London
from
to
London to
LA.
LA, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
randomly.
That's so crazy.
crazy.
Time travel, man.
Yeah.
Time travel.
What year was that, young Jamie?
2000, January 2015. So
Crazy.
Just think at the moment we took that picture, we were simultaneously talking about this moment, reflecting on this picture.
crazy, man.
So in a way, we were time traveling,
We were time traveling.
and we were on a time travel ship. Anyways, I'm stoked.
And now we're done. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Sleep
Goodbye.
well.
Goodbye.